Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday show. My name is James Chen, and I am joined by. Is your camera a
Whoa.
little blurry, or
Yeah, what's going on there?
I
That's
have
not normal.
no idea. But I'm here joined by Tubo Blur, I guess.
I'm gonna go ahead and blame OBS Ninja on that
That's fair.
because on my screen I look fine.
Huh? That's very strange. Let me see what happens if I refresh you here. Refresh.
Oh,
Huh.
that's worse. It got worse.
So
It's progressively getting worse.
very odd. Very odd. Huh. So on you, huh? Weird. Okay, I
Yeah,
guess it is just
on my end, it's good on my end. I look great. I'm looking at it right now. I
okay.
look fantastic. Couldn't look better.
I guess I guess it is OBS Ninja at this point. So I'm not sure. Anyways, Ultra David cannot be here with us today because he has like life plans or something like that, or
You
he's
know what? I just want to go on record and say I hate Hamilton. Who does a show on a Tuesday night, James? Who the hell does that? During a pandemic on a Tuesday night has a show of Hamilton. And who goes to see that show? David and his wife. That's who. Those are the only two people in the audience. That's it. Those are the only people.
oh man. Yeah, I mean, you know, I actually know nothing about Hamilton. I actually don't know anything about it. I don't know what
Good.
any
You
of
should
the
keep it that way.
I don't know what any of the
That's
songs sound like. I don't
you're better
know.
off.
Really?
You're better off. Yeah.
You're not a fan, huh?
No, you're fine. You're good. You never need to hear it. All you need to know is that it steals David away from us. Hate it for that reason, if not any
I
other
mean,
reason.
look, I've already spent the last few years trying to cope with the fact that David's wife has already taken most of his time away from me, and it's
Getting out of hand, honestly. It's getting out of hand.
yeah, miss those days, man. Anyways, let's talk about some video games, shall we? Let's talk about some video games. And again, not sure why the camera over there for Tubo's blurry.
I
We're gonna blame
I yeah,
OBS
I
Ninja for sure. So I
it
wonder.
looks so clear on my screen. I
Yeah, it's
promise.
it's definitely something with that transition at this point, but not much we can do. But what we can do here is talk about our first topic here. We've got all sorts of stuff we're going to be talking about, but we're going to be starting with Jacko, who has dropped into the new Guilty Gear Strive as the latest DLC character. Have you had a chance to play the character, fight against the character? You know,
I have 3 matches against Jacko, 3 games,
okay,
and I
okay.
won all 3. So Jacko clearly the worst, bottom one character in the game. No, she looks very scary. I've seen all the tech going around.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, I don't have any like deep thoughts on Jacko yet. I just don't. There hasn't been enough time. I need more time to play
Right,
against her,
right.
and
Yeah.
and to actually play her herself.
Have you actually tried messing with her in the lab at all or
No,
anything like
no,
that?
no,
Okay, okay.
not beyond kicking some minions for like 3 minutes, and then going, okay, I want to
Right.
use my free time to actually play the game.
Yeah, dude,
So
she's crazy, I think. And in fact, I'm really excited to see how she is in this game. A lot of the talk about Guilty Gear being simplified, characters with easier game plans, and blah, 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 all that stuff. Well, I remember when Gold Lewis came out, I kind of said that it feels like Gold Lewis is proof from Arxis that they're willing to go a little crazier with the characters.
sure,
And now here's Jacko. Because
yeah,
Jacko is a
yeah.
character that I have messed with in training mode. And I figured out all the things that she had, all of her moves, what the minions do, and everything like that. And I have no idea what to do with the character. Like,
Sure.
that feels distinctly Guilty Gear to me. you know, to have that kind of thing, like Venom. Like like every time I mess with Venom in training mode in Exerd, I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this character. Every time I mess with Zato, I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this character. So I'm actually really happy to see Jacko like that, and seeing the kind of labbing and seeing kind of the things that people are coming up with, because she really feels like an open page, an open book, and giving people a lot of room to do some creative stuff with her.
Yeah, she looks really fun. I mean, she looks really dirty if she gets you in the corner. I mean, that's you can say that about a lot of characters, but she looks specifically very, very scary in the corner with what her minions can do and the lockdown and the plus frame, all the plus frames, so many plus frames.
And you know, people were tweeting out today that one of the things that makes her crazy is that if she kicks minions, if she hits minions, it removes her hit stop.
Yeah.
So, you know, if someone blocks a move, the game freezes for a second, right? It's like, and then you keep animating. But if she kicks you and it triggers the hit stop, but then she kicks the minion, her hit stop goes away, but your hit stop stays.
She's more positive.
Yeah, so she has better frame data if she's kicking her minions at the same time as she's kicking you, which is what makes things scary. And I mean, if a lot of people I see in the chat right now, you know, she's going to take way more figuring out than I was ever going to commit. Glad she's in the game, but she's too big brained for me. Like, that's Guilty Gear. Like that right there. And in fact, you know, I've talked with L.I. Joe recently, and, you know, he's, you know, here or there on Strive. He's not the biggest fan of how it is. But when I posted on Twitter that Jacko feels like a Guilty Gear character, Joe actually responded. It's like, I went into the lab for 3 minutes, and I thought the exact same thing. Like, this is a Guilty Gear character. This is what this is what old school Guilty Gear feels like. And yeah, she's got this weird Venom Jacko hybrid thing, and I think she's really cool. I mean, I'm super excited to figure out how broken people can make her, because it seems like she can be pretty broken right now.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. You know, I like seeing character variety. I like seeing specialists. You know, I mean, there's like the Zato players right now, and maybe the Gold Lewis players, but there's not like that many like specialist type characters in this game. Like you can definitely main 2 characters plus if you're not playing a Zato or a Gold Lewis or, you know, etc.
Right.
Maybe like Amelia, but you know, if you want, you can definitely play like Mei and Sol or Nagoriyuki, and it's not going to be that hard of a struggle. But with Jacko, she looks like it may be a specialist type of situation.
I mean, technically speaking, everybody except Sol players are 2 character mains, right? Because we can all just pick up Sol and hit far ass a bunch of times and it works. So I'm not bitter or anything.
Damn. It's nerfed now. It's nerfed. It's not as bad.
Yeah, just like trying to bounce.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, no, he's still really good. Pretty good. Although, I mean, we'll talk about this in the patch for a little bit. Well, we can talk about it now. You've actually said that you actually don't even think Sol is number 1 anymore, huh?
No, absolutely not. No, hell no. It's
really? Leo.
Absolutely Leo. 100%.
Think that there's
100%.
Like, do you feel like they're both S plus characters, or do you actually feel like Leo is actually a tier above Sol now?
I think they swap places.
Really? Dang.
Yeah, I think Sol went from 1st to like 3rd, 4th, and Leo went from 3rd, 4th to number 1.
Wait, so you actually are saying that Sol isn't even necessarily number 2 anymore?
No. Sol's like 3 or 4, probably. But Leo is absolutely 100% number 1. And if you don't think so, you are a Leo player. You're denying it because you know it's true. That's just facts. Like that character is so dumb. He was dumb before the patch. I already thought he was number 2. Like I 100% thought Leo was the second best character. And then they made him better, and they made the 2 best characters, Leo or Soul and Chip, worse. So what happens? Leo only got better. There's no negative to where he was. So just naturally, he shot up into S rank, I
Interesting.
believe.
Okay, okay. I mean, who do you think is better than Soul right now besides Leo?
Maybe an Agora Yuki. I think Yuki is very strong right now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Yuki is still really good. I think
Yeah.
Ram is still really good.
Yeah.
Axel got very scary. I think his changes to the time freezes, like not only dope as shit, but really useful for him.
Right. Dude,
Um,
I mean,
yeah, I know there's like beyond Leo, you could say anything, and I'd be like, okay, I can probably agree with that. You could even say Soul's number 2, and I'd be like, sure, I can understand your argument. But Leo is just for sure number 1. That's what I mean. Like he took the
right.
soul area. Like he is the king.
No, I'm curious. I mean, like some people in the chat are saying that Nago does well against Soul. Do you feel like, it might just be that Leo does particularly well against May, or do you just feel like,
No, I do think that it's a like 5.5 in his favor. I don't even think it's that much in his favor.
okay, okay.
Um, I personally hate the match, but I've thought he was the best. Like it's not even
Right.
that's definitely there is some personal bias there, but I mean you saw the chat was just like yeah Leo 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 Leo.
Yeah.
That character's dumb. That character's dumb. He's
Yeah.
dumb.
He's kind of impossible to defend in a lot of ways. So I mean, I have trouble fighting Leos really badly.
Yeah.
I have trouble fighting lots of those kind of characters. So, for example, one of the characters that I actually thought I'm actually kind of worried about is Eno. A
Okay.
lot of people
Sure.
were saying Eno was worst character pre-patch, which is still kind of crazy to me. But like I said, these were players far better than me saying these kind of things. And after
Right.
the patch, she's kind of wild now, dude. Her dash is
She's
fast.
fast. She's one fast girl. Zooming.
She's terrifying. And but the thing about it is, even as terrifying as she is she more terrifying currently than Soul, than Leo, than Nagoriyuki? No. So I think the buffs for her are justified. You know what I mean? So even if she does
We have
end
to
up
see still. I mean, it's early. It's been like what
right,
a week with the patch.
yeah,
I think we need to see more time for characters like her who were less played and thought of as low tier. Um, that's like Faust as well. Did Faust get enough? We'll see.
yeah.
It's more of a time will tell thing. I think we can't jump the gun on those like middle like walking the line characters that might have enough now, especially like like holy shit,
Right.
she could be godlike.
I mean, honestly, right now, like, but the 3 characters who I've been talked about as the quote weakest characters have been Eno, Faust, and Anji. And
For sure.
Eno and Anji, I feel like got very obvious, palpable buffs. Anji is a nut now. Anji was another character that I couldn't fight very well because I just get opened up by those kind of mix-ups. If Anji or
Sure.
Eno gets you in the corner and has higher-low mix-ups and whatever like that, I just fall to pieces. Leo didn't need the corner, and he would make you fall to pieces. So
Sure, yeah.
I don't think I can block any of these characters anymore. But Anji is like terrifying right now, and Kai actually got a few good buffs too.
Kai did get some good buffs, but back to Anji, I've seen players like Clage saying that yeah, the changes are cute, but it didn't really address his actual issues. Saying that
Interesting.
at a higher level with people that actually understand how to play defense in Strive or just Guilty Gear in general,
Right.
it's really really hard to open them up in any certain way.
Yeah.
So he thinks that the changes are nice, but they didn't actually buff him where he needed it. So womp womp. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not a Anji player by any means. All I can say about the Anji change is that I hate how it looks. I really hate how it looks like rollback to me. Like when he goes
Oh,
halfway through fusion into another animation.
right.
It looks real janky, man. It looks like rollback. So I really hate that, and that's like what it is, what it is. But other than that, I don't know. I haven't fought Anji yet that made me go, damn, the changes are
Right.
what's beating me now. This is so cool. It's just kind of like, oh, you did a Kara hop. It's not that frightening.
Right. I mean, what is your opinion on the patch overall so far, though? I mean, do you feel like, because when it came out, people were like, "What? You didn't nerf it?" But like everybody got buffed, and Soul's Wild Throw got buffed. Like, I mean, how do you feel about it now? For just a week, obviously, it's super early.
My first thought is thank God they didn't Grand Blue this patch, because
Yeah.
the first major Grand Blue patch, I stopped playing the game. I was like,
Yep.
this game already had terrible netcode, and now I don't have fun playing it. That's not
Hmm.
the case
Hmm.
with Strive. The netcode's still great, and the game is still fun. They didn't ruin the game, so that's already a plus to me. Like that, it could have been so much worse than whatever it is now.
Yeah.
And overall, my knee jerk reaction is it's a fine patch. I mean, Soul got nerfed. Someone else took his place, which was gonna happen no matter what, almost for sure. A lot of characters got really fun stuff. Like you said, Anji buffs they're fun buffs. I mean, I don't know if
Hmm.
they make the
Hmm.
character stronger or not, but they definitely make it more fun to play the character, I would think. Um, so just quality of life stuff for Faust, and yeah, I think it's a fine patch. It seems like a good first patch.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this
Yeah.
game
Hmm. Hmm.
lasts the next 5 years, and we have 10 more patches to go. Like that's for a first patch. I think it's really good. I think it's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if Arx is so. I mean, someone in the chat is even asking, what did Grand Blue do in the first patch? Basically, took away a lot of the fun things for a lot of
Yeah,
characters.
it
Like,
has neutered the cast.
yeah, I remember so many of the cast got just like a lot of their cool things taken away. And maybe Arxis learned from that because, when they first dropped the patch notes for this one, I was actually really happy that not a lot of people got nerfs. I
Yeah,
liked the direction.
absolutely.
Yeah. And honestly, although I haven't really played much online recently, just because I've been taking a break from playing a lot of video games in general, but I feel like the patch from what I've watched and from things that I've seen seems like it's really good right now. I'm really really happy with the way the patch is going right now, and
Yeah, I agree.
I really hope in October they don't go ham. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they want. It sounds like they want to maybe do some system changes to make it so that people feel a little bit like they have more freedom or whatever. But like I said, I feel like if they just keep releasing characters like Jacko being added to the game now makes me believe that a character like Zappa or Bridget can actually show up in the game, and be mostly playable.
I mean, I don't see that happening this season, but it would be cool if it did.
Yeah.
I
Um,
I, I have a character I actually want, so I'm hoping they show up
which
this
one?
season.
Which one?
I hope they put Happy Chaos as playable character, and I hope
Oh, that's right.
I
Yeah,
hope
yeah,
he's cool as shit because I like characters with guns or bow and arrow, but there's no bow and arrow characters that I can think of in Guilty Gear,
yeah.
at
Yeah.
least not in this game. So
And
I'm hoping that Happy Chaos is cool.
I love that in the chat someone says, whatever you do, do not bring back Zappa. I mean, that's the nature of Guilty Gear, right? Everybody who wants Testament back played Testament. Everybody who's fought Testament doesn't want Testament back. Everyone who's fought Zappa doesn't want Zappa back. So, yeah. Not I'd be happy for the Zappa fans out there, like my friend and like Tasty Steve, but oof, man.
Bring back everyone. I don't care. Bring them all on. I've never fought them before, so I don't have these bad memories.
Oh, fair enough, fair enough. Oh God, Testament
I hope
is.
I hope everyone gets their character. How about that?
Yeah, no, Johnny needs to come back. And again, Johnny was only broken in Exerd series. Previous to that, he wasn't very strong. So Johnny can come back, and now it's time to put him right square in the mid-tier area. But he'd be weird. I keep saying that because with Johnny, I was so addicted to kick heavy slash into miss cancel, and he's not going to be able to do that Gatling anymore, and it's going to be really, really weird for Johnny.
What if he's like S plus tier for the life of the game? Would you still play him?
Yeah, because I was playing him in Exerd, and he was S plus for the life of pretty much that game. So
Right,
I was definitely playing him, but I barely played because netcode, right? So I mean, yeah, netcode, man. But the other thing too, I mean, what I did want to ask you is with Jacko coming out here. I mean, I put here our Strive characters getting more complex. We kind of hinted on this already, though. But do you feel like that they're doing kind of the same things that they did with Dragon Ball and Grand Blue, where it seems like the first season is the basic characters, and then
I don't know. I don't think so, because the two characters they've already released as DLC are more complicated than the first season of characters in Dragon Ball DLC for sure. Okay. I mean, Dragon Ball DLC had Bardock, which is the simplest character that exists in the game. So, yeah, I don't think so. I think they're kind of just doing whatever they want, which is cool. They should do that. I have a suspicion that Gold Lewis and Jacko were pretty much finished before the game came out.
Right.
That's what I expect, because they came out right away after release, and now the next DLC character is TBD in this year. It could come out next month. It could come out December 31st, 2021. Like we have no clue. So yeah, we'll see how things go. But yeah, I think they're just doing whatever they want, and they should. I mean, the Guilty Gear base is not casual players, and I think they've probably already sucked in the majority of the casuals that they were going to, right? So just sure, make the DLC complicated characters, do it.
Yeah, I mean, because already we've seen in the chat some people saying that they've been like scared to try out Jacko, and I'm wondering if it's time for them to release someone a little more straightforward. So to suck in some of the to keep a lot of the casuals in there or not. But
make Cappy Chaos simple. I'm down. That's my type of character. Low mental stack. I don't want 50 options that are all useful in my way. I want like 3 options that are useful in multiple situations. That's what I need.
You just want to shoot people with arrows and guns from across the
screen.
You want him to be Deadpool, don't you?
Yeah, dude. I wish there was another Deadpool in a fighting game. That character has never been done again. Like that style of zoning, I have not ran into. Yeah. I wish, man. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I remember, like, who was the police gun girl in Persona? Like, that was a character I wanted to learn just because I thought she would be interesting zoning people that way, but even she didn't really turn out that way. Naoto, that's what it was. Yeah, even she didn't really turn out that way, unfortunately. So, yeah, definitely would love to see kind of a zoning shooty character,
Anime games are always about rushdown, dude.
All right. Anything else you want to say about Jacko or this patch or anything?
I mean, there's plenty I want to say about Guilty Gear stuff, but we're going to talk about that stuff later. So
yeah, okay.
We can move on.
All right. Gamescom happened this past week.
It did.
And they promised some new KOF 15 stuff. And so I remember last week I was like, please show us at least a system mechanic.
Just give us a mechanic.
Exactly. And then the trailer came out and they gave us everything. Probably not everything, but they gave us a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
Yes.
We finally got actual match footage with the UI. We finally were able to tell how much meter everything costs. We found out how the systems work. Because it wasn't even just the trailer. They released the trailer, but then they also released the website. And the website has like all the information on there, dude. Like it's crazy. And then the trailer had some characters that haven't even been introduced yet, that are brand new to the series, that don't have names yet. Now, I will say the names were spoiled on the website a little bit. And for the sake of those people in the chat who don't want to be spoiled, please do not type the names in the chat, please. But yeah, the names were accidentally spoiled because all the characters on the website have an interview, and where the news guy actually asks him questions, and some questions are like, hey, blah, 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 and they're like, that's top secret information. But for some reason, on only, I think, the simplified Chinese webpage, one of the answers was actually mentioned the characters' names, and I think they forgot to switch that one or something. Sure. But
either way, whatever.
Yeah. But outside of that, I mean, they announced not only that the game is, they showed the UI, they talked about the system mechanics. We finally got to see how max mode is going to work a little bit. I mean, obviously, we're still missing details here. They told us there's going to be 39 characters on release, and then 6 DLC characters. But the interesting thing is the character select screen has, was it 9 or 12 plus 1? Like 13 slots that look like that there's extra things for besides the 39. Yeah. So are there going to be 6 or 7 unlockable characters? Maybe it's just the 39 at default? Like, I'm curious right now, because KOF 15 came with like 50 characters. And so, like, to have this one... Yeah, KOF 14, you're right. Yeah. And KOF 15, I'm wondering, if they're going to do 39 plus 7, which would be 46 characters maybe, and then have 6 of them be DLC or something like that. But... I'm not sure.
I mean, if they announce 39, I'd be surprised if they launch with more than 39. That'd be a weird thing to do. 39 characters. Haha, we got you guys. There's actually more that we didn't tell you. I would what? That's terrible marketing. Why would you do that? If you're going to launch with, 40, 50, something, like, you say that.
Right.
So I really doubt that. And maybe it's just unfinished UI for the character select screen.
Right. But, I mean, outside of that, a lot more of the cast was revealed. This was the first time that Ash was shown. So Ash is coming back, and now
Ash is ugly as hell. Ash looks terrible. The lips, they're huge, in the hands, and man.
He definitely got some, what is that, Botox or whatever that they do to the lips?
Some surgery. Surgery got done.
Yeah, but I mean,
other characters look good, but that Ash was rough.
From what I've heard, that sounds like something Ash might do. I don't know, but Ash was revealed, and then I guess the box art got released, and that spoiled Hydern, because Hydern is on the box, but there hasn't been any official footage of Hydern. K-Dash was reconfirmed. We all knew he was in there. He just never had an official trailer yet. But then there are the 2 new characters. One character who's apparently related to Shunei, who's the new protagonist, because he has the 2 little floaty hands like the boss of 14 Verse has, and then she has the little floaty hands too. So no idea. I mean, I've just been calling her Splatoon Girl because her hat has like paint splat designs on there.
Sure.
And then there's the other girl with the braids that showed up as well. The glasses and the braids, and she didn't show up on the character select screenshots that have shown up on the website and in the trailer. On the character select screen, new girl, Splatoon Girl, has her own team. Braids Girl is nowhere. Hydern is nowhere. And K-Dash has a team with nobody else in there. So it's interesting. And a lot of people are now wondering, because there's only one empty team on the character select screen that's been shown now. And perennial KOFer Kim Kapwan still has not even been introduced yet, and he's one of the only characters that has a perfect record in all the KOF games. So, is he gonna get screwed from an opening roster?
Oof. Yeah, that's weird. I didn't even think about that they hadn't shown Kim yet.
Yeah, it would be very, very weird. But I mean, maybe they'll put him in. I mean, I'm sad because
these are the expectations finally getting shattered. Maybe this is what they meant the whole time. If just Kim isn't in the game, that's it.
Shatter your expectations. No Kim.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, I'm sad because at this point in time, I'm pretty sure R.I.P. Kensu. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be in the game, at least not on launch roster in any case. So I'm sad about that. But yeah, even Nothing Excess is saying Kensu is donezo. So yeah, Daimon is definitely is confirmed not to be in the game because Benimaru even said so in his interview text and stuff like that. So
wild.
But yeah, I mean, 39 characters at start. But of course, I honestly feel like the trailer could have been 30 seconds long and I would be just as happy because they finally, not in just a tweet that wasn't even in the native Japanese language, but they've officially announced in that trailer rollback netcode.
Yeah, officially, finally. That's cool. Now, just the question is it good rollback?
Right, exactly.
How good is your rollback? Let's talk about that.
But the nice thing about it is, even if it comes out and the rollback isn't great, I feel like they'd be willing to fix it and not patch out fan-made improvements, you know? Maybe.
Yeah, hopefully they would make better choices there, but... Yeah, I mean, hopefully they don't need it, right? Hopefully it gets launched and it's great and everybody's happy and we're good to go, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, if they haven't hired Code Mystics to work on that part of it, because Code Mystics has been doing all of their 2D games. Now, obviously, this is harder to do than those games, but still, Code Mystics would be the right group of guys to work on it, in my opinion. But we'll see. But hopefully it works. But like I said, I'm like, honestly, like if the game was announced, it was like, we'll be online with our awesome delay-based netcode where we will absorb the delay, you know, like it would just be at this point where it would be like executive decision. We won't be talking about KOF 15 on the stream anymore because there's nothing to say at that point because the game would be DOA basically, you know, honestly, it would have been dead on arrival. So I'm really...
Synchronizes no more.
Yeah. I kept joking about that. I would have been like, well, thanks guys for watching Synchronize, and that would be the end of it. Yeah. But, you know, I'm glad to see that they have announced rollback netcode along with, you know, all the modes. I think they said there's going to be like online training mode. There's a draft mode.
Yeah. The draft mode is something I do want to talk about, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I think the draft mode is really dope for a game like KOF.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a good majority of the scene plays like the cast anyways, right? So I feel like, yeah, having a draft mode where one player gets first pick, second player gets the next two pick, you know, the next two picks like that. Like, I think that would be really cool. Like maybe even should be the game default in tournament. Like I think it's really that dope. Dude, I like the idea of it.
You know how like Street Fighter V added that 8-man online tournament? I want them to do that. An 8-man online draft tournament.
Yeah, that would be fucking sick. Right? That would be really cool. Dude, that would be really cool.
Because 8 times 3 is 24. There's 39 characters. There's plenty to go around. And like you said, do the snake thing, right? So like
that would be sick. That would be really, really fun.
Dude, I hope they add that. I mean, there was no sign that there was going to be anything like that, but I think that would be super cool. Forcing everybody to use different characters and stuff.
That would be a sick game mode. That would be a super sick game mode.
Like, that would be perfect for, like, side tournaments, like you said, like, at events, like, have little 8-man, high roller tournaments where they do, like, drafts and stuff like that. I think that would be awesome. Yeah,
that would be cool. And after DLC comes out, you could up that to 16 if you wanted to.
Dude, 16 times 3 is what? 8, 158? 48. Yeah, you're right. So if we can get up to over 50 characters, if you had like a 48-man roster, that's perfect right there.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Oh, that'd be
I think it's really cool. I also really like the UI.
Oh yeah?
Look, okay, I have positive things to say about an SNK game. How about that? I saw some people didn't really like it, but I feel like those people, there's no making happy, because they're the same people that were complaining about Guilty Gear. And like, there's such polar opposites. The KOF 15 in-game UI and the Guilty Gear in-game UI are polar opposites, really.
You think so?
And like, how I think all the meters in KOF are very clear and easy to recognize without even looking directly at them.
Okay.
Whereas Guilty Gear, the meters you have to like look at them to recognize where they are. There's not like enough coloring in the system for Guilty Gear. I don't like that you lose a heart when you lose a round.
Right. Yeah.
It's backwards, I feel. I don't like that they don't tell you how you died. I want to know if I got chipped out or I got hit. KOF doesn't have any of those problems. Like, I think the life bars are very clear. So if you don't like the Guilty Gear UI and you don't like the KOF Guilty Gear, the KOF UI, there's no. What do you want? Like, you're too hard to please. So
right.
Yeah, I think it's good. I liked it.
I mean, I think they're similar in that they're both that simplistic look. You know what I mean? Like, between those two and Street Fighter V, it feels like fighting games are going for this really simple UI kind of design. I feel like that's
logo creation. That's just where we are.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. There is a lot of that, and I've had long conversations with Oric about it, a guy who likes to do a lot of graphic design work. I'm all about texture and feeling like things have like volume and fancy design, and everything is all about being super simple these days. And I'm just I'm not a fan of it. So I thought the UI was okay. I have like little OCD things, like the edges look like they don't have any borders on them on the outside edges. But like you said, if you're complaining about that and being like, "Yeah, this UI is awful, I'm not gonna play the game anymore."
Yeah, whatever.
That's too much, dude.
That's the suck, dude.
Yeah, because at this point, I mean, even with Guilty Gear, with the combo meter and the counter hits and stuff like that, like I honestly don't see them when I play.
Right, yeah.
So it's just at the end of the day, as long as you can get the information that you need, and Guilty Gear's biggest weakness is the risk gauge meter, but
I also wish the tension meter changed colors when you add each level.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
It's just all it's like lighter green, like whitish green to slightly darker green.
Oh man! But they also announced the official release date as well as February 17th, 2022. So we knew it was coming out around Q1 because that's what they announced. But we have an official release date now, and I don't know. Yeah. I'm excited to see all the new information. I'm so glad we got this, and like I said, the website had a whole bunch of stuff, albeit a bunch of typos on the website, but. It seems like they did a lot of things that they were like taking cues, like that whole focus attack mechanic they have. Like you see in the trailers, if it actually hits someone, it refunds half a bar of super meter. Feels very V-shifty, Right. Sure. But again, just really happy to finally get a bunch of information. Super, super happy about that. The website is great. You should go, like, if you haven't, go to the website and just read all the interviews, because some of the interviews are hilarious. Like the King of Dinosaurs interview is pretty much art in the making, basically. So it's a good interview. But yeah, honestly, the game, I'm definitely. I mean, you could see how happy everybody is who have been chomping at the bit for KOF information. Like, this
Yeah,
is just
man. Well, like you guys were starving, and they finally threw you some crackers.
yeah. I mean, it
Like,
was it was even so much
they
to
didn't
the
even
point.
have to do all this. Like they could have just gave you guys a little bit. You'd be like, "This is the greatest thing ever."
Right.
So yeah,
And
they threw you guys everything. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it was even to the point where 2 days later, IGN was supposed to have more information, and then their stream started, and there was no information. And IGN even
Sick.
tweeted out, they were like, "We have no idea what's happening here. This is not up to us. Like, what gets and da 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 da, all this stuff," and nothing got shown. And like everybody who has been looking forward to KOF 15 didn't care. We were like, whatever. We had enough information already. We're happy. We're good. We're good. So it didn't. There wasn't even a blow up. Like, nobody was even mad about it because everybody got as much information as they wanted already. So
Good to go.
yeah. So I think a lot of people are very happy for that. So. Okay, anything else you want to add about KOF 15? Or we can just go to break and
Nope.
run over to... Dang, we have a Game Informer editor in our chat? Or is that just a troll?
Yes.
And in any case, okay, then I guess what we can do... Oh, dang, that's awesome. Shout outs to Game Informer editor, Mr. John Carson Games in the chat there. That's cool. But I guess what we'll do then is we will head to a break, and when we come back, we'll be bringing on Mr. BGCallisto to talk about all sorts of things. So stay tuned, everyone. Stick around, and we'll get right to that. Be right back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Tuesday show, and we are going to be bringing on our guest here for today, and that is, of course, Mr. BGCallisto. And let's see if we... Yeah, there we go. What's going on, sir? How you doing?
That's me. I'm
Dude,
live. What's up, everyone?
I see the Markman poster in the background, dude.
Yeah, it's literally the only thing I have. We just moved into this house a week ago, so the only thing I had unpacked that's up in the office right now is that poster.
That was the
I take
most
that back.
important thing to
The
get
cat bed.
unpacked first. Was that?
Yeah, no,
that
it was the
poster?
second most important thing. The first most important thing was the cat bed. So Willie has his spot.
You actually just have a dedicated camera
Yeah.
for the cat.
I
So what
furthermore
we can-
have it set up so that if I go stream somewhere outside of the house, I can like take that as a feed, like a remote feed, if he's sleeping on the desk. So like if I'm doing the local weekly, which you can catch every Friday night, twitch.tv/BGCallisto at Ignite, you might see a random cat camera.
That's such a good idea. I need to set up a permanent cat camera over here
Yeah,
somehow.
it was worth
so-
it. My mom got me a GoPro for Christmas at one point, and I was trying to find uses for it, and then I stuck it next to the cat bed, and it worked out.
That's a good use. That's like the opposite of the use they want you to use a GoPro.
Oh yeah, for sure. They want you to do rolling it all over, jumping out of
Yeah,
planes and shit. And I was like, no, I'll
exactly.
just
You're supposed
put
to
it
be
on
a
the cat.
Red Bull
A
sponsored
sleeping
athlete.
cat the entire time.
High quality sleeping cat.
It's
is what
nice.
it
Yeah,
is,
it's like a
so-
solid 1080-60, good high bitrate cat.
Go back to it again. Go back to it again.
You know what? So it's
Where's the
nice.
fisheye lens? Where's the action lens? I want to see Willie action. See, he's doing a trick.
So it's high quality enough that I have to like defer the cat bed sometimes. Like I have to get the cat bed ready for show. Like
Wow.
I have to clean the cat bed because the GoPro is solid enough that you'll. Oh, we got the spinneroonies. Good
Yeah,
job,
you
buddy.
got the-
Yeah.
that was a trick. He's
I
trying
even
out for
saw
Red
the
Bull.
little lip lick and everything. Oh
Yeah.
man, what a good
Yeah, he
cat.
knows when he's on. He's a professional. He's my co-commentator when
knows
I
when
run the
he's
net play
on.
tournaments.
I almost want to ask you to put that on a separate OBS Ninja feed so I can replace David with it. But that's okay.
We got back to where I had to move and do offline first, but that was the plan with St. Cola, was we were gonna pipe in his OBS Ninja feed too with Odin. So we were gonna have like dual pet cams in the commentary spaces. We're still pocketing that one for later, so we might
awesome.
still work that out.
Let's just all do that. Let's just do an FGC cat camera stream that someone's always streaming at, and we just pump each other OBS Ninja links and just have cat.
I have some future ideas
right
for similar stuff. So I'll let you know when that gets closer. I do have some FGC pet related ideas that I wanted to break out into some things.
I'm totally down. Okay. Let's do this.
Cutest cat tournament.
Well, the problem with that is clearly everybody's own cat would win, right? So
what I want to do is I want to do where, the FGC members submit their cat pictures ahead of time to the tournament, and then during downtime you do the predictions, right? The who you like thing, where you put up the 2 cat pictures and chat has to vote on the cat, and then that's how you do the elimination, right? You just run the bracket like that.
You're gonna create Are You Cat or Not? That's what you're doing. Yeah. The Are You Cat or Not site. Oh man,
it's that, except it's like when they do the whatever the crappy like food brand tie-ins for March Madness is, right? You gotta vote on whatever Doritos flavors.
Because I'm just trying to figure out, is anyone old enough to even remember that site, right? Am I Hot or Not? I think it was.
Oh, yeah, that was in ye olden MySpace days. We're probably the only 3 people that would know. That's actually why David's not here. There's a 160-year combined limit on what the stream can hold. So the 4 of us put together actually just wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's what 1080p actually means.
Yeah.
Oh man!
In case you guys didn't know.
Well, hey, let's talk to you a little about yourself here instead of just talking about cats and stuff.
Yeah.
This is what we ask everybody. We love to get everybody's background and how you got into the FGC. And, I know your role right now is streamer and such. How did you get into the FGC, and then how did that transition into the streaming stuff?
So I feel like I took like the literal opposite route of what the current move is. The fighting game community was my retirement home coming out of a Final Fantasy MMO. So I had quit Final Fantasy 11 after I think about 10 years, maybe. No, a little less than that, like 8 years.
Glad you got off the juice, man.
Yeah, exactly. So around late 2010, like August 2010, I had quit. There was, almost a decade worth of games that I had just never played because I was just grinding this one game like religiously. Right. I was very competitive in the game. I did a lot of end game stuff. I did a lot of like the super, I played Red Mage, and I did like the really hard solo shit that, at the time was kind of like the Epeen swinger, so coming off of that, I knew I wanted to try something competitive, but I wasn't sure what. I opened a GameFly account. I was the guy who, like, in 2010, I was like, have you guys heard of this Mass Effect game? This game's crazy. And everyone's like, dude, that's from, like, 2004 or something. So I was trying different games and just renting different games each week, and I saw a trailer for BlazBlue Calamity Trigger. And I had no idea. I played fighting games growing up, like in the arcades, but I didn't know how they worked. Right? I did them. I'm of the age that Super Turbo was a current game in the arcades when I was there. I grew up with that. I grew up with the shitty ones though, like Bloodstorm and Primal Rage and shit like that. Like that is not. I wasn't out playing like the actual.
Whoa! There's a lot of Primal Rage players who'd be very upset with you.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, man.
I was. I experienced it too. You can't lie to me. You can't. I'm not one of the kids, right? I was there for it. So I had no idea what a fighting game was.
That game, if you bounced around the human back and forth long enough, a volleyball net came up. Okay, come on.
Game. Perfectly reasonable. So yeah, I just saw I don't know if anyone remembers the original CT trailer, but it was just, tuning rock and anime stuff. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but it looks cool and it sounds cool, so I'm going to try it. So I rented it out. I dabbled a little bit. I played story mode. I was like, this is cool. I went online and I got fucking dunked on like instantly, really badly. And I was like, what's happening? So I actually I asked around the Final Fantasy 11 forum that the BG comes from that. I used to be a mod on a Blue Garter back in the day. So I asked around like, hey, does anyone know what this game is and how the fuck you play it? Because I just got the shit kicked out of me the second I like tried to face a person. And there were some fighting game players who, you know, were involved in the forum. And over time, you know, they taught me a little bit about how to play fighting games. I learned how to play Street Fighter 4, mostly online through that community. And in about, let's see, I think it was early 2011, I bought a capture card because I would go out to the bars. I was unemployed at the time. I was just partying kind of hard. I would go out. I'd get super blasted. And I would come home and I could do all these blood cane combos that I normally couldn't do when I was sober. Because, you know, sometimes you can reach an ascended state where like your brain shuts off and muscle memory takes over, right? There's no nerves. There's just hands. And no one believed me that I could do it. The people who actually played with me were like, there's no way you can do those. So I bought a capture card to record myself playing while drunk to prove that I could do install combos, basically. After a little while of mostly playing online with the people who I knew from the forums, I went to my first Chicago fighting game event. It was Chicago Heart 3. I got kind of lucky as an introduction. At the time, I was also playing like beer league hockey. So I walked in and the Black Rose, who I knew from the Final Fantasy 11 forums, who I still to this day, you know, work production stuff and fighting games with. He was at the tournament, as well as a guy who I played pickup hockey with on a regular basis. Happened to be like one of Hartnana's old friends that just also played hockey. So I kind of had at least a couple of like outside friends to help ease me in and explain like how tournaments work and everything. And then I think it was early 2012. Danny Medina, Medina for Life. He was the resident streamer for Chicago stuff.
OG.
Wanted to go back to college and was like looking for someone to kind of take over streaming the Chicago fighting game stuff.
Kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, can't believe he ducked out of streaming fighting games to go to college. What a goon. So I kind of took over the space. I started in April 2012. My first tournament. If you go very deep in my YouTube archive, you'll find some terrible, like, Nico quality, like, Street Fighter 4 events commentated by Tupperware.
Nice.
Back in 2012. So I kind of continued on with that, mostly just doing Chicago stuff. UFGT 9, I had brought my stuff and recorded some Accent Core offline bracket. They gave me permission to just come in and record offline. And then UFGT X, Keats asked me to formally come on as one of the tournament streamers. Awesome. And then that continued on to Combo Breaker. And then Combo Breaker, the first one, I met Chris Seglia with 10-0 Productions. Rick, the Hadou, of course, being a good friend of mine, was like, hey, if a guy comes up behind you looking at your setup, he's checking to see if he's going to want you to stream Evo. But he told me that at the beginning of the weekend. So, like, no pressure, right? While I'm setting up. Chris Seg comes up. I'm not gonna do a Seg impersonation. I feel like it's mandatory, but I don't want to get fired immediately, so I'm gonna not do it. But he comes up, he goes, you got an extra keyboard? And that's all he asked. And I always like super hyper prepare for everything. So I actually had an extra keyboard on me. Spooky did not have a keyboard, or his had died or something. I handed him the keyboard and he's like, you want to work Evo, kid? And that was it. I got brought on. I started being sent around.
Nick Fury?
Look at that.
Yeah, what is he? Is he Nick Fury? Did he assemble the streaming Avengers? It was like,
I actually want to go further into that particular weekend, because aside from that, when I finished my my stream for the weekend, I go to the back and they're wrapping up MK finals. You know, I walk up towards the back and Seg's like, good work, kid. Go in the back, grab a drink. And I walk in the back. And it's literally the setup they had that year. There was a couch and a coffee table for, you know, talent and, you know, staff to chill at. And it's Seth Killian, a coffee table, and a bottle of scotch. And Seth Killian, like, waves at it like, oh, drink, my boy. And I'm like, what? The FGC Illuminati is real? And it's back here behind this curtain? Like, what?
Yes.
And then Yeah, so I continued on the streaming stuff. Most people know me from that. I do a lot of stuff on my own channel, most notably, Combo Breaker and Frosty Frostings each year. But also, I had been doing white label stuff through 10.0. I worked a lot of Tekken World Tour and CPT and the MK and Injustice tours. And then I started doing a little bit more behind the scenes. I started with learning how to program the overlays for the scoreboards and stuff that you see. So a lot of the large tournaments that you see out there, I did a lot of the programming to make those things go. And then in 2019, when they started the dojo system for the Tekken World Tour, kind of last minute, no one locally was really running one, and I didn't want anyone to lose the chance for points that last month. So I was like, fuck it, I'll run a tournament. So I ran a Tekken tournament and continued on running Mishima monthly through 2019. And then at the start of 2020, like an absolute genius, I invested a shitload of money in offline tournament setups to continue running Mishima Monthly and my new flagship anime tournament, Shoujo Senshi Senjo. And we got set up for that. And found out that the night before a Smash player had been there who had tested positive. So, before the first event, we tore it all down. As people were pulling up in the parking lot, we had to, explain that the place was shutting down and we were going to go ahead and nix the tournament. Thankfully, we had a pretty good time moving it offline, and most of my last 18 months has been probably more as a TO than as a streamer. But yeah, so... And then we're here today. Thankfully, you guys are throwing Commentator Cup. One of the first times, the streaming is really good for me, right? I have a very carved out niche in the community. My role is established. People know the things that I'm good at. I can find the work.
So before we go on there, I mean, let's talk about that a little bit. So, I mean, obviously there's NLBC for New York. There's Wednesday Night Fights for SoCal for the longest of time. You've been doing the Chicago local for basically years, right? Like,
it's getting close to a decade. I will say, I think I came in relatively late, probably 2 to 3 years before, after Spooky and the Level Up series channels were already kind of well established and had their bases. And I think the Midwest, especially at the time, we weren't getting the shine. I think that's less of an issue these days. We still joke about coastal bias, but I think people these days know who our strong players are. Where before, some of it was that our strongest players were not in Street Fighter or Marvel, right? Our strongest players were in Guilty Gear. We had in Soul Calibur, we had absolute killers. I think it was Hawkeye and Lost Prophet, I think, back in the day here. Like we had some very strong players in games that weren't the main stage games. So we weren't always thought of as like one of those big scenes up there with the East Coast and the West Coast. And kind of the stream views. Yeah, the stream views sort of... I saw 60 in the chat. I mean, that's a good example, right? We were like the competitive hub of MK9, in the country for a good amount of time, and then all of them ended up working at NetherRealm, so nobody knows they play games anymore. Nobody's allowed to. I feel like that's actually most of the people who were really heavily playing in my day. We all just kind of working in the field now.
Right.
And play when we can.
For example, with NLBC, with Wednesday Night Fights, what is the Midwest one called? Like, name some of the best players that are coming from the area and such. Just to give the people in the chat, some more information about that.
Yeah, so we've been mostly, most of our biggest locals have been at Ignite Gaming Lounge. It's been called FGC Meetups for the last few years. It went by a few different names. We rebranded it a few times, but we have, I think, grown in a lot of games. Of course, with Strive, our Guilty Gear scene has been coming back really strong, and we still have, the Elven Shadows and the Black Snakes and, all these legacy names. Yeah. Our Street Fighter players came up really well, especially in the Midwest. We're going to claim him. He's not Chicago, but Dual Kevin would drive to Ignite from Indianapolis, right? He would. I figure you can claim who plays at your local, right?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
That's the way I believe it. Macho, people saw him get top 5 in Evo NA the other day, then proceeded to come back and beat one of his demons, DPS, who had been running the first month or so of the Strive tournaments, had been winning every week. My good friend Zach in a Box is, shown really well in a lot of games. Of course, we had, Cool Kid making a big splash in Street Fighter V a few years back. Notable cross Tekken player before that. We had the Chicago scene has definitely had our strong players. We've also had GLB. We've had.
Oh no! Take that back right now. Take that back right now. GL who?
I said separately from our best players, separate from our good ones. We had great players, and we had GLB and Spriggan, and they were also players.
Okay.
They were also
all
players.
right. Okay, I'll accept that.
I think I would say that Midwest historically, we did have a lot of the genuine 2-1 it was close those, right? Where we would have our best player would show up and they would really put a scare into a very good player at a tournament, and that would happen on a regular basis. But it was kind of like that for someone gets out of pools, they go really far, they're just outside of that top 8, top 16 range. My buddy Heroic Legacy in chat, mentioning our Tekken players as well. We have Shadow 20Z's a little bit further south of the city, Cuddle Core in the west suburbs. They have some super strong Tekken players actually. We have Ducketer, Skullgirls, two-time Evo Skullgirls champion, very proficient in a bunch of games. Gave me the best fighting game advice of my life, where he was behind me coaching me for one of my matches. I tried something really cool and I dropped it, and he taps me on the shoulder and he leans in and he goes, "Do what you did there, just be less bad at it." And just deadpan, and he's an Evo champion. How do you argue with that? That's clearly the answer.
Thanks, man.
That's amazing, dude.
I'll work on that. Whatever version of that is, I'll work on it.
I'll try being less bad next time.
Yeah, but I mean, here, Mighty Mar. Oh, dude, Elvin
Mighty
Shadow's
Mar,
in here. Yeah. I mean, also though,
best Anakuris in the world, only possibly, but still also the best. The man who can, I believe, he's the only person I know who can do training mode against himself with both hands. I'm confident that whenever the Nickelodeon All Stars or whatever comes out, he'll be able to do a 4-player party game if he uses his feet. I think he could go against himself with all 4 of them pretty easily.
He's in the same class as Sakurai himself, okay?
That's what we need to arrange those 2 players playing a cross Tekken scramble mode match against each other, right? Where they both have to control both characters at the same time. I think that's the kind of stuff we need.
Amazing. But I did want to point out, though, because, NLBC and Wednesday Night Fights had been not only, hogging a lot of the spotlights in terms of players, but for commentators as well. Now, obviously, thanks to your stream, which you've been doing every week, you've had some commentators make it out of there and get into really big names. Talk to me about St.
something
Cola,
I helped with more. That was cool. Not just St. Cola, actually. I do want to bring up before that, Nobody EXE, who was a regular on my channel. We got him to do. We got him on Evo Blaze Blue Top 8. That was a really big kind of a win, for us. Of course, Tupperware had been in there for Marvel. We had, getting out to the Midwest. My friend Black Rose, who we had mentioned before, he had done KOF Top 8 at Evo before. We definitely had sent Midwesterners out there. St. Cola, he was just a guy who came and asked if he can get on the mic, and I'm pretty open with the mic, right? I lay down the rules of, here's what you can and can't say. Do the thing. And from there, he just kind of ground on it. And it is important to me as the streamer for the weekly. The players, show up to practice for the weekly, right, to get prepared for tournaments. I come there for a few reasons. One, I'm practicing for myself, right? Sometimes I'm trying new stream tech. Sometimes I'm trying new hardware, different things. And I need to practice myself. I need to make sure I'm not rusty when it comes time to do a big tournament.
By the way, just want to interrupt real quick. And you mentioned the stream stuff, and I wanted to say something earlier, but the only reason why I've written all of these layouts and all this stuff for our own stream is this man right here. He's the one who taught me how to do all
basically, I made a tutorial because when I had to learn how to do it, there were no resources at all. And, it was far, all right, here's some basics. I got some things to sort of break down backwards and reconstruct. But the same thing, right? When I have an idea for something, I need somewhere to test bed it to make sure it works before I'm
Sure.
like, you know,
Makes
go to
sense.
Segway, like, let's toss this in Tekken World Tour online. Let's try this out, right? I have to know how that stuff works first.
Right.
So, but aside from that, you know, you can't replicate playing in a tournament by not playing in a tournament, right? The nerves that creep in and everything. So a lot of what I think is important for me, I bring my big lights and my expensive cameras and everything out each week because I want to recreate that feeling of playing on a stage at a major. I want the players to have the lights blasting in their face, people screaming in their ears, poor sound, you know, at the station. I want the setup to feel the way that it's going to when they get on stage at a major, because the only way you get past those nerves, I think the real secret a lot of people don't really say, is you never stop being nervous. You know, in tournament settings, you learn how to execute while you're nervous.
Yes.
And I want them to get the reps in and to practice. And the same thing went for the commentary, right? It's just reps. St. Cola definitely took that to the extreme. He took full advantage of the pandemic. I mean, that man was working like 6 tournaments a week, you know, on a light week. Yeah. But he still comes through, and he does, you know, he would still be at the Waifu Dome. He'd still come through on Saturdays and do the Grand Blue local weekly with me, right? You know, we did Grand Blue a couple weeks ago together at Ignite. You know, he came through to the local weekly. So it's always nice for me to not just see my friends do well, but also to know that I put a platform that I built to some sort of good use, right? I've done reasonably well for myself. I'm one of the few people who can say, like, I get paid. It's not my day job, but the amount of time I put into fighting games, I get paid for usually. But I don't want to stop at that. I want to take some of the stuff that I built and spread it around, and, you know, help the community around me grow up.
You've given some commentators, you know, a platform to grow, but now you're in Commentator Cup, and these guys are your enemies. So tell me how that feels.
I actually, you know, the just the necessity of, like, when I do the Waifu Dome, I play in it, I stream it, and I commentate it. It makes sense. It's my tournament, right? Like, I just kind of do everything. So I've been commentating a lot more, and I getting to the point where been looking, you know, only commentate sometimes, right? Like, commentate for other events and stuff. For Commentator Cup, I mean, the big thing to me, why I was kind of stoked when you guys asked me, is I do all this stuff, right? I do the streaming, I do the programming, I do the TOing. I help with so much stuff in the background that sometimes people forget that I'm still a competitor, right? I'm not the person who people ask to grind matches, right? Or to sit down with and play at locals, because they all just assume I'm busy, or, you know, or I am busy, things like that. I don't get to still be a competitive player, which at the end of the day, that's why I do this still. I'm still a competitive person. You see that in my streams, you know, everything I do, I'm always trying to, you know, flex a little bit and one up people and things. It's something that I carry my feelings as a player into the streaming. And what I'm trying to do as a stream is recreate the way it feels to be in the building, right? I'm not worried about all the esports stuff and all the glitzy animation. The big thing to me is I want someone to understand what they're missing by watching the tournament. I want to have some rough yelling in the back of their ears. I want to have, you know, people being degenerates in the corner, maybe a couple dollar bills waving that probably shouldn't be on screen, you know. That's the stuff that's important to me. I want to bring that atmosphere of what it's like in the building as a player, because I know what it feels like to be a player, and I know what it's like to have that competitive feeling. So I will say my biggest worry is that I know at least 2, maybe 3 of them play Leo, and Strive is my first Guilty Gear game, right? I did start with Arxis games. I was significantly better at Street Fighter 4 than I was at BlazBlue, so I kind of like naturally ended up spending more of my time. But since Street Fighter 4 ended, I've been playing a lot more BlazBlue. Grand Blue ended up becoming my main game for the time being. And I have been playing a lot of Strive, and I feel at home. Like, I'm like, oh, this is Guilty Gear. And then Leo happens, and I'm like, this is what they do? This is what Guilty Gear players think is fun? Okay, cool.
So, I mean, that's the thing, right? So, in other words, how important is it to you? In other words, do you want us to rig the bracket so you go up against St. Cola first round? How important is it to you to body St. Cola first round.
I'm going to say the opposite. I could go either way with anyone. I specifically want to make sure I'm on the other side from Sajam because I have currently a 100% lifetime winning record in tournament against Sajam that I would like to keep intact. So I would rather make sure that I don't have to face him.
Wow.
Oh,
so I can hold that until we die. Then St. Cola, sure, yeah. Like
if you see you're about to, if you're about to run into Sajam, you're gonna lose the previous round.
What you're telling me is you're gonna take the dive.
Yeah. It's like a Metroidvania. I'm just gonna be like whoop under, come around the other side or something. We Wizard World Tulsa. I'm pretty sure I hit him with like the stupidest Mika mix-up I know too. That was the same tournament that I hit a 10-year-old with an unblockable super setup.
Good job.
And, you can say what you want, but I got 4th place and made like $300 that weekend. So whatever.
You're gonna learn today, son.
Money on that little kid's head.
I told the kid he shouldn't have given me, CA or a V meter. I was like, if you just, you're the one who gave me Nadeshko. What do you want?
I bodied that kid.
Dude, I mean, it's funny too because you brought it up. I actually wanted to bring it up as well. David still, every time he sees someone like Fudo use that unblockable Mita setup, he always still calls it Callisto.
Thank God for David being quick on the draw on that one. I remember distinctly when Fudo did that because it was like 2 or 3 years after I found it, but no big names had ever really done it.
Right.
So he immediately recognized that was my setup and kind of had the receipts for me, which was nice.
Callisto.
Yeah, that was that was very helpful for me. The nobody ever did my Street Fighter 4 special either, which was a safe jump from jump canceling a taunt. That was like the big thing I was known for finding in Street Fighter 4 was
That's right.
I tried to find out what the stupidest thing I could do to make my friends mad was, and it ended up being jump canceling a taunt into a safe jump.
That's right. I remember you showing me that before someplace. I don't remember.
Yeah, it probably I think it was Evo Japan.
Might have been. Yeah. Oh man, but I mean, like, how much do you enjoy having the role that you have now in the FGC, being one of the main streamers and, being the guys creating a lot of the overlays? Like I said, I mean, you've taught me a lot and it's been super helpful. I mean, trust me, the first time I looked at it, I was like, I have no idea how this works. You sat me down at Frosty Faust. Yeah.
Sometimes, right? Like, there's definitely... it feels good to know that people will trust me with things that they don't want messed up. At the same time, there's definitely times where they're like, here's this, we have this sick idea. The first time I did the combo breaker overlays, right? And I'm watching top 8 from the crowd and I'm like, please God, don't let something break. Like, don't like they go to change the score and it's just everything shits its pants. Like that's,
right.
So, I think that little bit, that imposter syndrome line is always going to be there. Like I'm always going to, I have a very fighting game player mentality of there's always going to be someone better and you're never actually good enough, even if you're the best at what you're doing. So I really like that I have my place cut out. It's also nice to like not have to win a tournament to get paid for going to it. That's probably the best part, honestly.
A commentator here, hard. I can confirm. Confirm.
Yep. I walk in the building, I'm getting paid no matter what. All you suckers got to fight for it.
And then, if I'm lucky, I get to sneak away and there's a side tournament for Ultra or something and, and get to have some
Speaking
fun
of which, we have a money match we never finished.
Oh,
you're gonna catch these hands.
Was that Yumacon? We
dude, it was somewhere where we got interrupted mid-set.
Yeah, we
what game and what was the score?
I honestly
it was
don't remember.
4-1 me, and it was the first to 5.
You could have said it was 5-0. I have no idea. It's so long ago.
No, we both.
But chances are it was 4-1 me.
Yeah, it was definitely. No, you were playing Blanca. It was pretty ugly.
Can we Can we rerun that here on Ultra Chen as part of the commentator?
Not online. Ultra Street Fighter 4 does not exist.
Oh,
online.
okay, yeah, fair enough.
We can run it back in 2023 when we
game
when
online
we're back.
more than anyone on Earth. You were online all the time. I remember.
That doesn't mean that I thought it was good. Also, a lot of it was that other guy that people think is me, the guy who's always talking shit in the Twitch chats, the one who's like one L and 2 I's or whatever. That's the Korean player. I played Korean for like a week in Street Fighter 5 trying other characters, and every time someone smoked me, they're like, wow, I can't believe I beat you. I was like, yeah, man, tell all your friends. Like, that was definitely me, the good Korean player. So
Oh man. Well, I mean, you did plug yourself a little bit earlier, but feel free to plug yourself and all the cool
yeah.
stuff that you've been doing and everything like that. So and talk
So
about
the
that.
at's the same on Twitter is probably the place to follow me the most. The Twitch is the same, BG Callisto. Right now, every Friday, I'm doing FGC meetups, except for Friday the 17th, because you guys are making me skip the local to, beat up St. Cola, whatever.
Oh, no.
This Friday, I would actually super appreciate if people checked out because they are running my two favorite games. We're running Ultra Street Fighter 4 and Grand Blue Fantasy Versus on the same night. So I'm super
Nice.
excited for that. They're probably the only two games that have like really fit me as a player. So I'm very excited to play Street Fighter 4 this weekend. There is what else do I have coming up? On October 23rd, we're going to have part of Low Kick's Roundhouse. Shoujo Senshi Senjo is finally going to happen offline. I'm going to be running Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, BB Tag, and BBCF.
Nice.
So that'll be at Ignite Skokie. And I do have some more stuff coming up that we're working on. I can't let it out of the bag just yet.
Reveal it now, coward.
Yep. Yeah.
Do it.
Exclusive on Ultra Chat TV.
Literally, if we had literally any details outside of like, yes, this thing exists, which was solidified about like 3 hours ago. So, just
Heroic Legacy says more cooking streams. Is it true
yes.
that you are an amazing cook even when drunk and you like to wave sharp knives around all the time?
All of those things are true. I'm a phenomenal cook. While, David witnessed it. I was like absolutely crossfaded in the kitchen, waving knives while talking. It's not like a weapon thing, right? I'm just kind of Italian. When you talk with my hands, and if a knife's in your hand, it still happens.
I'm terrified of sharp objects and knives in the hands of other people, so I would not be anywhere near that. So.
Oh yeah, no, I was waving it like I was giving a boardroom presentation, like it was over here.
Yeah. I'd be hiding under the table.
The food was good. I will eventually have more cooking streams. I'm in the middle of cabling this new house to be able to do a lot of really cool stuff. So we have a giant basement. It's going to be used for some invitational tournaments. I think my end goal is I'm trying to rig it up so that, we have a match arena with stretch goals. And the stretch goals are basically if we hit N amount of dollars, I just cook a specific dish for everyone that's there. And I'm going to have stuff upstairs. The way the cabling is laid out is I can sort of transition to a fully separate show upstairs. So I'll be able to literally like pause the tournament and just fire up a cooking show in the middle of the kitchen and then return to the tournament. Honestly, the entire gag I want out of all this isn't even the transition for the stream. It's having, the OBS.Ninja on my phone and somebody has to follow me up the stairs like the Maury cameraman. Like I'm going to be running up the stairs and they got to run with me like up to the kitchen. That's pretty much the entire punchline I'm trying to get out of this. So I'm spending probably like 5 digits on trying to make it happen, but it'll be worth it. I'm sure.
I'm sure too.
Well, that would be on twitch.tv/BGCallisto, right?
Yeah, of course.
Well, James,
you can also find Big Willie at twitch.tv/BGCallisto. If you're looking for the premium content, you can hit us up. Look at that right there.
Kitties.
I'm jealous. My cat is in my bedroom, I think. He's definitely not out here with me.
I definitely also ask everybody this question at the end. You said where the BG comes from. That is from Final Fantasy 11. Mm-hmm. You never got hooked into 14, did you?
Thank God, no. I played it at launch, and I was very fortunate that was the worst MMO ever made when it first came out, because that's what got me out of my MMO addiction, actually, and that's sort of how I was able to play fighting games. So that the Callisto part. So when I first went to sign up for Final Fantasy 11, that was the first place I used the Callisto name. I had actually tried to sign up for some Japanese term for big boobs. I think it was like Dekapai or something. And the filters for the names were like surprisingly good. The Romanji version, it was like, no, we can't do that. It's just normal, the things you do when you're in your 20s, right? You try to sign up for games with booby names. And as you also do when you're in the 20s, I had a drug addicted artist living on the couch, and he rolls over. He's like, why don't you try Callisto? It's the moon of Jupiter. And I was like, sure, what the fuck? Let's try it. And there you go. That's how it happened.
Literally,
a heroin addict was like, "Hey man, try Callisto." And you're just like, "All right." Cool.
So you're named after the moon of Jupiter.
That's the most
not the
hardcore-
mythological figure either. I had no idea that the Callisto, like the Greek mythology Callisto, that got turned into a bear or whatever. I would have been against it. I'm terrified of bears. I have a very strict anti-bear stance, so would not have gone for that if I knew that otherwise.
That is definitely the most hardcore name origin story we've had so far.
I know, right?
So that's cool.
Oh man. Awesome.
It was just normal stuff. I thought everyone had a guy on the couch, right? Like
You just saw Half Baked way too many times, man.
That's how apartments.
Not
work.
everybody has a guy on the couch. Most people don't, I'd say.
Well, wish I knew that then.
Yeah. Hindsight's 2020, man. What can you do?
Well, you know what? BGCallisto is a very, very cool sounding name. So there you go. I think it rolls off the tongue.
It works off even better now because, especially in the Grand Blue community, the BGs being the opposite of the GGs.
Wait. Before you go to, and before I forget, where did your YouTube channel name come from?
Oh, I just obviously it's a semi Ferris Bueller reference, right? The Sausage King is my YouTube. I actually just am a giant fan of encased meats. I consume large amounts of pork sausage just in general. And then the sausage, that's just Chicago pronunciation, right? I have a few friends who have like the deep Chicago uncles that sound like the super fan skit, right? The first time I walked into somebody's house and his uncle's like, "Hey, why don't you go in the back, give me a couple 2-tree old styles at the back, huh?" I was like, "Wow, that's real. That's a thing." So that guy was big into sausages as well.
Did you make that YouTube channel with like the intention to like have sausage casing videos?
Not at all. That was I think the first things I uploaded were like Dead Space glitches or something. I think that I just had it was something random.
That's awesome.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping by here. We definitely wish you luck at the Commentator Cup. We apologize that we're forcing you to cancel your local that day, so you can beat up on St. Cola and everything like that.
Yeah, it's something you got to do it sometimes, right? The important thing is actually, since he would be someone commentating with me, you're canceling his local as well. So we're entering on an even playing ground when I beat him up. So
yeah, I feel like at this point, everybody wants to see St. Cola go 0-2. Nobody wants to see him win. Everybody
want to beat him, but I want him to beat everyone else because then that makes my win more meaningful. That's
wow.
That's how the transitive property works, right? If you beat the person who won, you basically won.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what you need to do.
St. Cola, Sajam, first round, got it. Okay, we're hooking that up. So.
Well, I already told him I was going to do that anyways, or Ryan Hunter, I think actually.
Oh,
I think you. So what I think, I don't really care of the order, and maybe there's another Ryan that I just don't know their all their first names off the top of my head. There needs to be some sort of Ryan gauntlet, right? Like me, St. Cola, and Ryan Hunter need to all play each other in some sort of succession.
Yeah, we have 3 Ryans on this bracket. His name is Ryan, yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't think I knew that.
I didn't mean to expose him on stream, but yes, it makes things very, very confusing. Before.
You've commentated together.
I know, but all I do is just call him Saint Cola, dude.
I just found out his first name's not Saint. Like, what?
Dude, I mean, like, Ryan incredible. Hunter's name isn't Ryan Hunter, so,
Well, yeah, but just the Hunter part.
Right.
At least know the guy's first name. Jeez Louise. Well, all right. Anyways,
doxing St. Cola. Anyways, thanks for stopping by again. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to your performances at Commentator Cup. And again,
looking forward to it.
Check out the Midwest stream, twitch.tv/BGCallisto. A lot of strong players out there. The Midwest scene is obviously very, very talented. So check that out.
We the best.
Peace.
Later, Ryan.
So there we go. Oh, dang, your camera is... Yeah, let's see if we can tweak. There we go. Tweak that. Okay. But yeah, no, shout outs to Callisto again. He is the man who taught me all of this stuff on how to use the stream control, how to create all the layouts, and even the folder format that I use for all the layouts is still based on what he did. So,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, just basically at Frosty Faustings in 2019, I was like, I want to do this. I want to learn how to do this. Show me how to do this. And
Show
he
me the
just-
ways.
Yeah, and he literally sat me down. And what was beautiful about what he explained to me is just like I didn't understand how all the pieces fit together, and he was just able to make it super clear. And now here you go. This whole overlay that we have is thanks to Callisto. So there you go. Well, and to of course Rick. So obviously all of my overlay stuff comes from Midwest, right? So the only thing not Midwest on this stream right now is me and my background. Everything else here is Midwest, okay?
I already said it, man. We the best.
Yeah, mid best, right? So there you go.
Facts.
All right, let's move on to the next topic over here. Some fun stuff happened over this weekend, and want to talk about this. Shout outs to IFC Yipes, of course, running a bunch of the can opener series of events, and basically happened organically. They ran a Guilty Gear tournament. Marn, I believe, won the tournament and beat Hotashi in the tournament. And basically started calling Hotashi out and basically saying that he was the best in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
And so Hotashi, shot back, and then it just got set up into this 1st to 15 money match.
Well, that's also when previously Hotashi had beat Marn in the grand finals of 2 tournaments in the same day.
Right. Mm-hmm,
so
that's right,
Hotashi had already bodied Marn twice in one day. And then Marn takes one tournament, and then he popped off, and blah blah blah. So yeah, that did turn into a 1st to 15.
And of course, Yipes of the MVC2 background decided to set that up as a 1st to 15 exhibition that took place this past weekend. Marn and Hotashi played. It was Giovanna versus Nagoriyuki. And Marn went out to a big lead. I think it was like 4-1 or something like that. But eventually Hotashi adapted and was able to win the exhibition 15-12. And it was really hype. It was a really, really cool match.
It was a good set.
Did you actually get a chance to watch it?
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah,
every bit
same.
of it.
Yeah. And
they were playing for $200 too. It wasn't just for bragging rights. They had money on the line.
And it got to like $800 in Matcherino.
Oh yeah,
too,
the
right?
Matcherino exploded. Yeah.
And
So they originally had their own 200 on the line, and then Yipes did what Yipes does and got a Matcherino thing involved, and so they ended up both like profiting, I'm pretty sure.
And one of the we were talking about this before the show, maybe potentially turning this into a 5-5 Ultra Chen thing, but I just wanted to talk about like this organic rivalry and stuff, and how important I think it is for the FGC to have this kind of thing. Obviously there's worries of people getting too angry or personal or toxic or whatever like that, but in my opinion, having this kind of rivalry, especially created organically between these two like this, and then you saw it. Like, Yipes said that this was the second highest total viewers that he's ever had. He had like 7,000 viewers.
Like 7,000 something, yeah. But let's get into why he had 7,000 viewers. So Hotashi beats Marn 15-12, like you said.
Yep.
And so Yipes brings him on Discord. They have a quick chat. And Hotashi says, I'll take on all challengers any amount. Anytime. I'm here. Call me. Hit me up. Tweet me. And guess who steps up to the plate immediately? Of course, it's Punk. Of course it's Punk. Of anybody in the FGC right now, of course it's Punk. So, Punk throws out the challenge.
And Punk
any amount back.
Punk apparently also had a small beef with Hotashi as well, because Hotashi lost to Punk in a tournament, and apparently Hotashi ranted afterwards that he was being carried by Soul, and that he wasn't really that strong, etc. So Punk had it kind of personal. He was like, he wanted to play for like $500, $1,000 and stuff, and
I mean, so Hotashi agrees to a $250 match, 1st to 15 right away. And this is after a lot of shit talk. Between the two players. If you're going to pick a winner based on shit talk alone, Punk bodied Hotashi. It was rough. You could tell that Punk was an experienced shit talker and Hotashi was new at it. But
Right.
he did his best.
The interesting thing too was that Hotashi, even before the match started, apologized for.
He did. Yeah.
For saying,
what?
you don't approve of the apology.
Come to me, man. I will teach you. I will show you the ways. I will give you the tech. You train me in Guilty Gear, I'll teach you how to talk shit. You'll never get bodied like that again, I promise. Come to Tupperware, I got you. Because, man, you cannot apologize while you're shit talking. That's not how that works, bro.
Oh, man, that's so funny. Yeah, but they did end up playing. And, Punk went up like 5-1 early on. And then Punk basically said in the chat, like, he's not getting more than 5 games. But
yeah, Punk was teabagging. Punk was talking shit on his stream. He was watching Yipes and Hotashi's stream in between games to see what they were both saying and commenting on it. This was like top tier entertainment. It was so good. It was incredible. Like, and that's why Yipes had those views, because like this actually, you talked a lot about organic rivalry. That was like, I felt like it was 2011 again.
Dude,
like that was just
like it
was
happened.
So good. It was so good.
It was literally out of nowhere. Like Yipes was like, we did not have this plan at all. Like it just happened. And I mean, shout outs to Hotashi, by the way, who won a tournament.
Yes.
Then played Marn.
Yep.
In the first of 15, and then played Punk in the first of 15, and held his own 15-11. He did lose to Punk. But by the end of the stream, he had streamed for 9 hours straight. And then after losing to Punk, he immediately started reviewing his matches. Like
hard worker.
Yeah, he was
hard worker for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, shout outs to him. He played a lot of Guilty Gear that day.
There is no shame in how he played Guilty Gear that day and how long he played. It was just the shit talk that was rough. Everything else, fantastic. Great stream, great level of play. Like, I mean, Hotashi was so impressive, man. Yeah. I honestly thought he was gonna beat Punk. I was like, he's gonna go and beat Punk now. Like, he's gonna put his foot down. Right. But I think all of that happened, obviously, is so good for the fighting game community. Mm-hmm. And Punk winning just opens up a discussion. It doesn't. Hotashi wins, it shuts the door. Hotashi's best in America. It's done, I think. Mm-hmm, but Punk beating Hotashi, even in the state that he was in of playing for like 9 hours and winning tournaments and then having a stressful money match, and even in the state that he was in, Punk winning opens up the door for the discussion of, is Punk one of the best players or the best player in Guilty Gear 2? Like, yeah.
I mean, hey, look, to be fair, Punk said he was a little tipsy. He was drunk, right? But we just heard from Callisto that can be a power-up as well. So,
and I mean, he definitely had like the mental guard break on Hotashi, I think.
Yeah.
Coming into the set. Punk didn't really have much to lose. If he lost, whatever. But if he won, he had a lot to gain, and Hotashi had to have been exhausted. Like that's a bad place to be in.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, though, I mean, I felt like it was so good, and it was great to have Yipes kind of at the helm of it, because Yipes was part of that MVC2 community, man, and those rivalries, like, I feel like we're missing that a little bit in the FGC.
We are missing, dude. I mean, like...
I will say this, and I know you're going to throw up a hallelujah and, like, praise be and all this stuff like that. That is the thing that is missing the most from the FGC without a Marvel versus Capcom game in our community.
Oh, yeah.
At the forefront, honestly.
That's not even like a hallelujah. That's like the most obvious thing in the world. That's like very obvious that when Marvel 3 kind of faded away from the limelight, the money matches stopped.
Yeah.
In all games. There wasn't money matches anymore. There was like a lot of hugs and try harder next time, buds. There wasn't there wasn't rivalry anymore. Not in the same way.
There's nothing wrong with hugs, but still.
No, it's cool. Right, I'm just saying there was a lot more of that and a lot less I hate you.
Yeah.
Let me show you how much I hate you with my ability in this fighting game.
Right.
That just didn't really, it just went away. So yeah, I feel like it's super obvious.
And obviously that set between Hotashi and Punk was very good, but I don't want to leave Marn out of the conversation as well, because Marn did take that first set to 15-12 with Giovanna, who's supposedly a kind of a bad matchup versus Nagota Yuki. And a lot of people don't know, there's a lot of the memes of Marn killing Guilty Gear. Marn was he has a different history with Guilty Gear, in that he was an Evo top 8er more than once. Once in the team tournament, once just naturally in the top 8 in Guilty Gear as well. He's had a long history with it. In fact, even though he was kind of originally Marnito, named after Magneto, he was more known for his Guilty Gear Zato play than his Marvel play back in the day. He was one of the best Guilty Gear players, and it's kind of neat to see Martin kind of back into like his home game, kind of thing.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
And again, shout outs to all three of those players, to Yipes, to everybody putting on an awesome show. And again, I hope we can do that. But like I said, I hope it's kind of organic. I really do hope it's organic. And again, as long as it doesn't cross a line, right? Obviously Punk, Hotashi were talking trash to each other. And, Punk might have skirted the line a little bit a couple times, but he did keep it mostly like, you're trash at the game, like you're garbage in the game. You can't talk smack to me. You can't tell me Soul carried me, blah, 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 all this stuff. He did try to keep it mostly in the game. And as long as it stays that way, I think it's good. I think it's good.
Yeah, it was fine. That was like standard talk, I think.
Morrison, it wasn't even necessary that Marn rigged a bracket. From what I remember, what happened was he was running a Guilty Gear bracket. He was tasked with running the Guilty Gear bracket, and anyone who's ever run a bracket and anyone who's ever been a TO will tell you the job sucks. It's thankless. And what I remember hearing was not that he rigged the bracket, is that he just abandoned running the tournament partway through.
Yeah, and then when he came back, it was all screwed up, and it was unsalvageable. People played that shouldn't have played, like 3 rounds back. It was just you couldn't fix it.
Right. That's what I remember hearing about that, and so
he made a mistake. It happens. It happens.
But
yeah.
Again, I just thought it was so great. Like watching that, like it felt like classic FGC to me. And I know I'm the old man and I'm always talking about how great old FGC is, but like I felt like that was fun to see. You know what I mean? Seeing that kind of rivalry, that kind of first to 15 with actual like pride on the line there, It
was cool. It was super dope.
Yeah.
It was it's something that's sorely missed in the fighting game community right now, I think. And like I said, man, after Marvel went away, so did a lot of money matching and that type of like organic hype. But also, COVID does not help the situation.
Oh yeah.
Because how many games can you even play online that you would trust to put significant dollars up for, right?
It's true.
Like there's just not enough games that like I would be like, yeah, sure, I'll put $1,000 on. Like, no way. I'll play offline, but online, no way. Guilty Gear, thankfully enough, it's pretty damn good to play a game online. So it's not as big of a deal. So maybe we just been waiting on that, maybe we just needed a game that's actually possible. But
and it sucks too because MVCI has good netcode, man. It does have good netcode, but
I know a lot of other things wrong.
Yeah, I know you've kind of soured on the game a lot recently, so
I mean, it's just that's a whole different job. Like, I don't hate MVCI. It's just Marvel 3 is a better game, is all I can really say.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to question that. Marvel 3 right now has...
Oh, no, there's a lot of Marvel Infinite players who would question that.
Oh, yeah?
There's a lot of Marvel Infinite players really love that game, and that's cool.
Yeah.
That's for them. It's just not for me.
Yeah, because, I mean, honestly, Marvel 3, I feel like, has now been elevated into that weird pantheon of, like, this game is, like, one of the best fighting games of all time kind of thing.
Yeah,
so.
it's up in VIP Celestial.
Yeah, it's one of those games that will be played for years and years, like a Super Turbo and, like, an MVC2. And it's like... You know, like those games, like you can't even talk shit about those games. Like you can only say I don't like it, but you can never say they're bad games, because if you sit there and say like Third Strike is a bad game, like trust me, I've tried, and like that did not go well for me. So let's put it that way. So
Yeah.
oh man.
All right. That's all I really have to say about that.
Yeah. All right. Let's do the 5-5 matchups here. Now, we only got 2 5-5 matchup questions, so there's not going to be any polls or anything. I don't need to show them on the screen. I'm just actually going to just throw it onto the stream right now directly. So let's do the first 5-5 matchup question here. The full question here we have is, do you think we're still at the point in Strive where we only understand 40% of the game, and powerful tools like BRC will become more prevalent by this time next year? Random people in FGC culture often think games are figured out in the first few months nowadays. What do you think about Strive?
Yeah, I think we haven't tapped even close to its full potential. There's no way. There's just no way. I mean, the game is too young. We have a system change patch coming in a month or so, in October. So yeah, no, there's no way that this game is like 30%, maybe if it's at that point. Yeah, there's way too much to discover and to be found. Yeah, there's of course people always think the games are figured out. I remember when Dragon Ball was figured out at the Evo build. Everybody knew it. The game was figured out before it even came out. Like, yeah, and yeah, no, we're far from that. Far from that.
And the crazy thing too is, like, I even think even if the game stays the same, I don't even think that we're that far into it. Like, I don't even like. Because, like, I swear BRC usage is going to change. Like, he mentions BRC in the question, and I think that that's one of the big ones right there. But even then, like, let's compare it to a game like Street Fighter V. You know, when Street Fighter V came out, remember that, you know, early on, like, Charlie Nash was killing everybody. People thought Ryu was one of the best characters, etc., etc. And by the end of the year, Nash wasn't even in the top 7 anymore, you know? And, you know, Infiltration, remember, he was the Nash king. He went 0-2 at Capcom Cup. Tokido went 0-2 at Capcom Cup in the first year. The game had changed drastically. We weren't playing the game the way we were supposed to be playing, with all the throw, shimmy, you know, attack mix-ups, with the way Street Fighter V, the frame data-ness. A lot of people were still trying to play it like Street Fighter 4. And I guarantee you a lot of people are still trying to play Strive like it's Exerd. You know what I mean? So I think that there's so Season Ryu wasn't bad. He stayed in the top 7, but he definitely kind of fell off a little bit. And I think if the game had stuck around exactly as it was, I feel like Ryu would have fallen into mid-tier at some point in time. But for sure, like, we didn't know the game that well, even by Evo that year, and we had been playing it for like 4 months. I feel like, you know, the game evolved a lot, and it was only by Season 2 that we really started figuring out Street Fighter V. I feel like we have a long way to go with Strive. And unfortunately, I can make these claims because we'll never probably find out, because it is going to change and balance patches and stuff like that, but I will stick to my guns. Even Street Fighter 4 Season 1, remember, we all thought, like, people thought Gen sucked at first in Season 1, and then when Super came out and Gen got nerfed, everyone was like, why are you nerfing Gen? He sucks. And everybody in San Diego who fought Yeb were like, we know why Gen got nerfed. They're like, we definitely know why this character got nerfed. You know, and people were mad because they were like, oh my god, Guile's buffs barely helped him, he sucks. And then he was one of the best characters in Super Street Fighter. You know, we've got a lot, and I still believe in Season 1, if we played it for longer and longer and longer, Cammy probably would have ended up being... Yeah, vanilla. Yeah. Sorry. That Cammy probably would have ended up being like top 3 at some point in time once we started figuring out all. Yeah, we would have figured out all the vortexy shit and all the
Unblockables, yeah. Seth with unblockables with stretchy arms.
God,
no
yeah.
thanks. I'm good.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that are gonna change for Guilty Gear. So I mean, honestly, yes, I do think we're still probably at 40%. If I wanted to be pessimistic, I would say we're 50-60%. But even then, like you said, 30% is even questionable at this point.
Yeah, I think 40 is way too high.
Yeah, because I mean, like, people, like, I was watching Kid Viper stream at one point, and he was talking about Faust, and he was like, everyone's just trying to play Faust like Exert Faust, like XX Faust. He's like, just watch Nage, who says, oh, this is just a different character with similar stuff, and Nage's Faust is kind of gross. And now Faust is buff.
Nage said on Twitter that he thinks Faust is a viable character now.
Right. And
so as opposed to was not viable before. So that's good.
Yep. So I think that this game has a long way to go. Honestly, I really do. So.
Was it RAF and not Nage? Sorry.
Oh, was it RAF?
Zynek knows better.
Okay. Gotcha.
Zynek knows better than I.
Hey, look, they're both two of the best Fausts right now. RF is ranked number 1 right now? Jeez. Okay, well, there you go. Faust player is ranked number 1. There you go.
Playing a lot.
Okay. But yeah, I will address the second half of this. So random people in the FGC culture often thinks games are figured out in the first few months nowadays. You know, it is silly not to admit that we do figure out games way faster than we did before. But,
absolutely.
But it's still, we don't the Dragon Ball example is a great example, right? Sparking was the comeback mechanic. We were all trying to use it like X Factor at first. And then eventually it became first hit sparking, kill the character to get, because it was just such an advantage to be 3-on-2 and stuff. And that they had to add another comeback factor to replace sparking, right? So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Second 5-5 question here. Let's do this here. Could the outlook on social media of new fighting games being too easy or too simple compared to older iterations be impacting the long-term stay of new players? I should probably change those to single quotes just to be grammatically correct here.
So I don't know what the question is trying to ask me.
I think basically, do you
because
feel
if it's
like
what I'm thinking what it is, then no. But yeah, explain it.
So what I think this question is basically asking is the social media circle out there of everyone going, man, fighting games are dumbed down today. They're stupid. Like, they're bored. Like, man, those old games are so much more complex and better. Do you feel like that's driving away a lot of the new blood that we're getting? Do you feel like it's like, yeah.
Like fighting. All right, man. So like, obviously, Twitter is heavily used by the greater FGC, right? But just because you play fighting games or pick up a new fighting game doesn't mean you're part of FGC Twitter. Like, you could just be reading reviews on these games, and the reviews say, oh, this is good for beginners, and you pick up the game because you want to get into a fighting game. You haven't played a fighting game for 10 years, and now I want to pick up this new one that just came out, right? Like, I don't think so, man. Like, I've recently discovered, basically, that there's a whole different world of the FGC over on YouTube, and there's a whole different world of the FGC over on TikTok, and Twitter is its own thing as well. Yeah. And so if people think that, like, the Twitterverse is all that's out there, they're not seeing the larger scope of things, which is not everything is so, like, black and white like it is on Twitter FGC to other groups of people. So yeah, no, I don't think so at all. I think it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, from my standpoint too, is like I would approach this question from a different angle in that, I mean, fighting games aren't simpler and too easy these days compared to they were back then. I mean, and I'm an old man, I'm a boomer, right? But like, okay, I can go tell you how complex Super Turbo is. Then I can teach you Vega going off the wall and heel-balling people to death for 50%, and you're going to win a lot of games. You're going to win a lot of games. I'm going to teach you how to Kara throw and confirm Chun-Li's crouching medium kick. You're going to win a lot of games. Like, I'll teach you those two techniques. You're going to win a lot of games, right? I mean, that's just really what it comes down to. Is Strive simpler than old Guilty Gears? Yes, it is. Is it easier to win as a result? Not really. Like,
No.
you know, you're still going to lose the Hotashi. You're still going to lose the players like Punk and stuff like that, you know. As much as everybody says about these games being more random and, you know, helping people who aren't as strong win, like, you just don't see that in tournament results. You just don't, right?
You don't.
It's the same people winning all. I mean, Marvel 3 is the perfect example. When that game was out, all everybody would do was talk about how stupid easy it is to win and how skillless that game was. I couldn't go 2-2 at the local, dude. That was my whole goal, was to go 2-2, and I went 0-2 and 1-2 week after week after week. And I was like, this game is not brain dead easy to play, dude. Like, it's just not. And you know, when
It's one of the hardest games to play out there.
When MVC2 first came out, that game was 100% designed to be a simpler game. You know, MVC3, they made one of the buttons launch to make the game simpler. Dude, it's just no such thing. David has said it many times. There's just no such thing as a simpler fighting game, you know? Even a game like Dive Kick, we're going to see the same people winning Dive Kick over and over and over again, you know? It's hard to... It's the best way to put it. I always use the example, like, you can give a sniper rifle to someone who can't really shoot a gun. Will they be able to hit the target pretty well? Yeah, they'll probably do better, but then you give it to somebody who knows how to use a sniper rifle, and then they're going to kill everybody and no-scope everything. And, you know, it's just, no matter what you try to do to make a powerful tool to help beginners, better players will learn how to use that tool better. You know? Yeah. So there you go.
I agree.
Yep. Okay, so that's that. Bunch of small little topics here going on. Not as much news, but lots of like little cool event stuff here. So Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl also had an announcement at Gamescom. They said they were going to reveal new characters, and sure enough, they revealed CatDog and April O'Neil. CatDog, who we joked about, who should be two separate characters. Mighty Mar and Sakurai should play CatDog. But I haven't seen the trailers yet. I didn't get a chance to see them. Did you manage to see the trailers?
I did. I watched it. It was just one trailer had both the characters.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
They had a little CatDog section and then an April O'Neil section. April looks cooler in the .emu game by a lot, but she looked fine. Whatever. CatDog was pretty interesting. They didn't look ice climbery because you can't lose one. Obviously, if one goes, they both go. But it did look like each side had its own special attacks. So depending on what side your opponent went to, was the special attacks you'd be doing.
Interesting.
Is what it looked like. I could be wrong. That's just how it looked to me on the whatchamacallit, on the trailer. But yeah, the CatDog seemed cool. I want to see Ren and Stimpy already, who I think will be ice climbers. That's my guess. Is you play them both, and one can go and the other one can go. And
my beloved ice climbers. How I love your frosty filling. Anyways, I totally lost my train of thought by quoting Ren and Stimpy.
All right. Ren and Stimpy, Ice Climbers, CatDog, April O'Neil.
God, what was I about to say? Oh, that's right. No, I was going to say this game could potentially give us some of these rivalries because, again, this is a game that has rollback netcode, right? So there you go.
Well, they said unsupported systems, which who knows what that means. And it was only one of the devs saying that on their Discord.
Gotcha.
It's not like an official announcement, so I'll hold my breath.
Fair enough.
We'll see.
We did have a lot of events going on this week. Summer Jam was this weekend.
Summer Jam happened.
Yeah, and it was basically the first in-person major, since COVID, really. I mean, we had Frosty Faustings, and then that's when everything stopped. A lot of people got sick from Frosty Faustings, and now I'm wondering if a lot of those
They
people
sure did.
did catch COVID, right? And we just didn't know. But since then, which is basically, what is it that now? A year and 3/4 later, probably?
Something like that, man. I don't want to think about it. Yeah,
Can't even figure out time anymore, I swear. But finally we had an event, Summer Jam, and
It happened.
It is concerning. I did talk to some people who were there on my stream yesterday, and it sounded like it wasn't heavily enforced. Like,
I mean, if you watch the streams, you could see people walking with, their nose or even entire face basically sticking out of a mask. Like it.
Okay.
It's what you expect, man. It's what you expect. Players would go up to play and they'd want to take off their mask, which I understand, but you shouldn't, like it just, yeah. But what can you do? What can you do? If you're going to have these events, you can't police everyone all the time. It's impossible. So,
yeah. So, I mean, but outside of that, I mean, the people that I did talk to who were there said that they enjoyed it, that the tournament was run surprisingly well. I did hear a little bit of criticisms about some commentary there, but I don't really know much about that. So
I got to listen to some stuff, and yeah, commentary was rough.
okay, wait.
Saki Sakura was actually incredible, though. I did listen to Mortal Kombat Top 8.
Oh,
and
sick.
Saki
Okay.
killed it, and she's actually in the commentator cup too. But she was incredible. I was like super impressed.
That's
by
awesome.
How strong she was.
Now, Joe in the chat said something about a hotel tweet. What was that about? Do we know?
I did not see anything about a hotel tweet. I honestly was not really involved in social media this past few days. I just been tuned out.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of taking a break from a lot of things, and so I mean, this obviously both of us, when September comes around, we'll both be trying to stream a lot more. Let's just raid each
every
other
day.
all day.
Not even a lot more. It's literally every day for me. Besides the first.
I'm not making that promise. You have more power than I do, so I am gonna try to
see how it goes, man.
Look, I'm telling you, I'm actually going to try to finish Outer Wilds this month. I promise. So
3 years later, I see.
Yeah, basically. And you know what? I'm so stuck at this point in time. I may just have to ask for a hint because I don't know what to even try.
Bro, I don't even know where you are at this point. It seriously has been like a year since you.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh man, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad people enjoyed it. I hope everybody is safe from the tournament and everything like that. So I hope everybody is healthy.
So too, man.
Yeah. Okay. Also this weekend, another in-person event was the Jazzy Circuit finale. This one I heard was very curated, that they didn't let anybody in without masks and stuff.
That was more of like an invite thing, wasn't it?
Right, and there wasn't as
qualify.
Yeah, I think they had qualifiers.
I mean, that makes sense to be able to police, 16 people rather than 600.
Yeah, but it was cool because this was streamed by Arturo in super high fidelity again. I mean, he makes those old games look just beautiful. Like the third strike, it's just so clear. But then, I mean, this is the culmination of a 2-year thing, Jazzy Circuit. I'm sure it was extended because of COVID, but they've been running Jazzy Circuit qualifiers for a long time now. And finally culminated this. Like, I know Arlieth was out there, Issei, who was originally from Japan and, was one of the strongest young players who lived in New York for a long time, was there at the event. Family Fun showed up. 5-star Yi Wang showed up to the tournament and actually won the tournament against Issei with Ken versus Young. So 5-star, showing that Family Fun is the center, is the Mecca, and every place else is still Mongolia, I guess. I don't know. But honestly, it was really, really cool. It was really cool. Oh, the man who taught the U.S. they were playing 3S completely wrong, Issei, yeah. I mean, he was one of the players who showed up and did really well during the time where US still didn't know what we were doing in the game, pretty much. So he was one of the people who did help the scene advance very far. And then, like I said, Family Fun just became the mecca at some point. I always said during that time period, SoCal was the Third Strike mecca, NorCal was the CVS2 mecca, and New England area was the MVC2 mecca. Like I don't think that there's really much dispute on that. But Yiwang from the Family Fun era did take it with Ken over Issei. I've seen some of the highlights, and I mean you watch high level Third Strike, and again, this is old man talking here, but you see some of the decisions that Yi made, and like you can tell fighting games back then were just different than fighting games are now. You know what I mean? Except Strive now, maybe, because Strive definitely has a little more old school feel. But like at one point in time, Issei was just like uppercut into super, just like he just did it, and it connected. And in the Third Strike sense, it made sense, but it was just the wildest thing. And I know Art is rendering them and trying to upload them, so they'll get up there eventually.
Well, it sounds like it's dope.
Also, the Dragon Ball Fighters World Championship opening event happened, and there was an exhibition between France and US. And I didn't get a chance to see this. The only thing I did see was Damascus popping off France superior to US, saying France is the best in the world.
Yeah. Not even just popping off to US. It was the entire planet. They're the best.
Yeah. And so
sure.
What do you think of that? What I mean, do you have an opinion on that claim right now?
I think that most people feel like the American team wasn't actually our best players.
Okay.
The way I feel is it's really hard to say who is the best in America right now because the game's netcode sucks. So a lot of people that were going really hard on Dragon Ball before stopped. So it's really, really hard to say that. And I could be wrong. If you're in France out there, please correct me. But I feel like France handled COVID better, like for the past 8 months than a lot of places. So they were meeting offline to play. So they had that experience. They still had that drive to keep going. Whereas American players, how are you going to play the damn game? You can't. You can't right now.
Sonic Fox and Cloud 805 are just going to practice online, dude. They're just going to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's impossible. So, what really came out from this, though, it seems like it ignited a fire under a lot of people, including Japan, including America, including Sonic Fox, including Goichi.
Okay.
Goichi was like, oh, I heard you guys were talking shit. Well, guess what? I'm going hard. And then Sonic Fox was like, oh, yeah, you're going hard? I'm going hard. So at the end of the day, America losing might be one of the best outcomes because we're not cocky anymore. Now we're going to try again, right? So hopefully that's what happens. Happens. I like watching Dragon Ball.
Yeah. And honestly, I haven't had a chance to watch it since all the changes and stuff, I probably should just go and try to watch the archives or something like that. But like I said, I've been kind of disconnecting a little bit, so I'll try to get back into it this month. But I'm definitely eager to see how different the game looks with the new, pretty big mechanic changes. So
I watched a little bit of the exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
It was it still looks like Dragon Ball to me, man. It looks like Dragon Ball to me.
Fair enough. Fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, It's, if you liked it before, you'll still like it.
Okay. Now, another big event that happened this weekend was the Smash Ultimate Summit 3. There was just the Melee Summit, and now we have the Smash Ultimate Summit. Tweak wins this one, but the big thing about this is that their crowdfunded pot grew to $156,000. $156,135, I should say.
Yeah, put some respect on that 135, all right?
Yeah. Hey, I mean that's more than some tournaments actually have.
That's more than most tournaments.
Yeah.
Most locals, you're not gonna win $100.
So
Shit, some majors, you're not gonna win $100.
now I heard this kind of spawned like some sort of again talk about Smash versus FGC. Are they the same community, etc., etc.? I didn't spot any of that. If anybody has any, TLDR summaries of it, I don't care enough about it. I want. I hate the separation. I understand where people want it to come from and everything like that, but I'm tired of hearing the whole conversation, but
it's so unimportant.
Right.
It's so it's such a useless argument and conversation.
Right.
Even if FGC and Smash are separate, we cross over a lot. We're from the same universe, all right?
Yeah.
There's the Avengers and there's the Guardians of the Galaxy, and we're gonna be in each other's movies all the damn time, okay? Just who cares?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, the way that I view it, too, is, what's interesting to me is I thought a lot of it still came from the FGC side, hating Smash, saying inane things like Smash is a party game, that it doesn't matter and stuff like that. That I thought that's where the discourse was coming from, but there's actually people who just say, there's not a lot of crossover, that maybe it's healthier if the scenes were separate scenes and stuff like that. But, I don't know, that kind of changed my discourse on the thought process. I'd still like them to be more cooperative, but maybe I'm hoping for too much. Maybe I'm just too positive about the whole entire thing. Oh, and I don't have this listed here, but Nintendo is also cease and desisting other tournaments that were trying to run Project M, updates
again
and stuff like that. Yeah. So, and it sucked because I think they did it 1 week beforehand, and so some people had already bought their tickets and were traveling and stuff like that to play that Project Plus specifically. So at Riptide, that's what it is. Thank you, FS Link. So that sucks. Yeah, but God, Nintendo's gotta wake up, man. They gotta wake up on this stuff. So
they won't. They don't care. Their fans are too big of fans to stop to stop buying their stuff because of that. They don't care.
But
too big to fail.
But honestly, though, shout outs to the Smash scene. $156,135.
Yeah, that's dope. That's super dope.
Crazy. That is really, really crazy. Someone in the chat asked me if I'm going to commentate more Tetris in the future. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm too involved. This makes me sad because I'm too involved in the FGC that I don't get a chance to commentate all the events in Tetris that happen outside of the World Championships. There's a lot of storylines and stuff, and I always have to play catch up whenever the classic Tetris World Champions come back. But I'll definitely, if they hire me again, I'll definitely continue doing the classic Tetris. So, also CPT South Africa happened this weekend. Again, like I said, I didn't get a chance to. I did watch the Marn Hotashi Punk thing because you couldn't not. Look, I haven't been watching a lot. I still watched that. Okay, look, you just couldn't miss it. That's why it's so great. But I didn't get a chance to see CPT South Africa, but from what David had written down in the notes and such, Billy Date won the tournament over Jabi M, and what David said is both of them looked really, really strong. And again, this is really cool because the South Africa scene is not a scene that gets a lot of chances to display their talent. In fact, Africa as a whole has been kind of absent from the FGC, outside of obviously, a little further north and stuff. But it's really cool to see, and I really do hope that the CPT starts expanding into more areas of Africa so that we could have 3 separate areas in Africa, maybe even 4. Phantom says in the chat, lots of character variety. Someone said in the top 14 characters were used.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Almost twice as many characters were used as players were in the tournament. So 23 different characters used in the top 16 according to Guhak. So that's really cool. Oh, but
cool.
Also mentioned that South Africa also going through some political strife right now and such. And Billy won with Ed and Nikali. That's cool. Ed is an underrated character, man. Ed is an underrated character. In fact, I was talking to Kraymore recently, whose twin brother is Dominion. And, Kraymore was saying, like, dude, you don't see Dominion in tournaments anymore right now because he's busy. But he's like, his Ed is ridiculous. Like, he is, like, that is a character you should not be sleeping on at all. So, well, Cammy Reign of Terror. Remember, Cammy also got a little nerfed. So that did temper her a little bit. Whiffed dive kicks now have more delay than dive kicks that are blocked or hit, making V-shifting dive kicks and punishing it, or just whiff punishing dive kicks, period, a lot easier than it was before. So
for sure,
Cammy's Reign of Terror might have still been going if she did, but honestly, I don't think it would have. I that nerf was, a good enough of a nerf, but I don't think she was as dominant as a lot of people thought it was. Like I said, the nerf is definitely affecting, but I don't think Cammy would have won every tournament even if she didn't get nerfed. So, upcoming events.
What's coming up?
Whoops. Let me do this here. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid League Championship is
finally happening.
Yeah, this is finally happening here. Let me get you a little bit more details here. This is going to be happening on September 11th on twitch.tv/leveluplive. So Level Up is going to be streaming this, so which is really cool because that'll make sure that it has at least a decent audience watching that. Because Twitch, I mean, I'm not saying that about the game. It's just this is Twitch. This is Twitch. If you have the amazing event and you're streaming it on a brand new channel, no one's gonna know. Because that's just how Twitch works. So that's really cool, though. But it'll be exciting to see that because I know this game has definitely grown into a behemoth of its own, and so it'd be really cool to see how this event goes down.
Yeah. I'm glad they're finally getting to play that out. It's been a while. So that's cool. But what I'm excited for...
And then, I don't even know. So I just saw Nerd Josh tweet about big Marvel 2 money match. And I was like, what? And then he said it was going to be between Justin Wong and Round... Where did do you know the history of this? Like, where did this come from?
All this beef happened on Facebook. I'm not in those groups. I don't use Facebook unless I absolutely have to. So I just know it's Facebook beef. $5,000 on the line. Dang. Fuji is holding the 5K for both players right now. They've already sent it in. So this is happening. Like, it's actually happening.
Ruin from Vegas?
Did Ruin instigate? Of course he did. Of course Ruin instigated it. Of course he did.
And for people who don't know who Fuji is, Fuji was one of the two guys, along with Galleon, who ran Seasons Beatings a long time ago. Fuji was
big Marvel 2 head.
Yeah, he was one of the guys that was always setting up a lot of those money matches and rivalries and exhibitions at Seasons Beatings. Him and Havad and Mike Watson were the big money holders of the Duck versus Sanford exhibition and such. Yeah, Fuji is OG. I mean, Fuji is OG as hell, basically. I mean, that guy has been around forever. Shout outs to him. I didn't know he was still in the FGC and hanging around and stuff like that. Makes me happy to hear that because that guy's awesome. So shout outs to Fuji, absolutely. But, dude, $5,000 money match in MVC. This is Marvel. Marvel just brings this out of people.
I want to know if Justin's wife knows about this. Because I've noticed Justin is not tweeting about it. Justin is not tweeting about this. I want to know what Justin's wife knows. That he just put up $5,000 on a video game that he doesn't. He says himself, "I'm a content creator now. I don't play these games. I'm a content creator." This man just put a semester of college on the line
Oh, he did tweet. He did tweet. So someone said,
Oh,
I
he
guess
did tweet about it?
did tweet
Okay.
about it recently. Okay,
All right,
he just
okay,
promoted it for
So
9
at least she knows. At least she knows.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Justin's not sneaking around.
Dude, what are you trying to do? You're trying to break up some families here, too? Oh, come on, man.
I was just questioning. I didn't have all the facts. Now I know it's fine.
Oh, that's funny.
I didn't do anything. That'll be Justin's problem. Justin's breaking up families, not me.
Because I did notice that there's a lot of players tweeting out pictures of themselves landing in Los Angeles and stuff like that. I saw Justin mentioning he's here. I saw Problem X mentioned he was here. I'm guessing it's probably for Street Fighter League because those are all players that are going to be in Street Fighter League. So I'm guessing that's probably what's going to happen here. But that means Justin's going to be in town, so he can definitely run that. And so apparently next weekend.
I hope it's streamed on someone's channel. I really want to see that.
Yeah. So that's going to be cool. It'll be fun. I wonder if Arturo can make it out here, because Arturo, obviously, when he streams these old games, it's just the quality is so beautiful. Either that or he could teach someone to do it. Maybe he can teach me? No, just kidding. Someone else has already got this, dude. So. Oh, it's happening on Roundhouse's stream. Okay, there you go. There you go. Roundhouse is like not old school, not new school, but not old school. Like he's kind of one of the newer, recent up and comers. He used to play at Super Arcade a lot, if I'm not mistaken. So Nothing Excess says he is pretty OG, but not more recent. Yeah, see, that's what I mean, right? You can't say you're an MVC2 player and not be OG, but he's not part of the Clockwork, Shady K, Justin, Desmond, Executioners,
veterans like Clockwork,
Smooth
Shady
Viper.
K.
Yeah, he's not one of those guys, that old school. So, he's after. So, if I'm not wrong, he is after Neo, or is he around Neo time? Is he after Neo? Or is he before Neo?
If you're from 2009 or earlier, like you're OG now. It's just all to say you're old. Yeah. You're an old guy. And when Street Fighter 6 comes out, all the Street Fighter 5 players are old players now. That's how it works, dude. Oh man. How many generations deep are you, James?
Dude, when we talk about Street Fighter,
5 generations deep now.
I mean, like David always says. At this point in time, people who played Street Fighter 4 09ers have been in the FGC longer than David was in the FGC when he was making fun of 09ers back in 09. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're OGs now. Triple OG. Oh, We've been here. We've seen this. We've done this.
Oh, God. Now,
all right, moving on, man.
Dude, this actually breaks my heart. This is bad news for me. Because, and for a lot of the people playing Soul Calibur, a lot of us have been wanting to have official word of whether or not we were, we all kind of knew Season 3 wasn't happening for Soul Calibur, but,
this pretty much seals the deal.
We were hoping, but this, is the death knell. I think Okubo is the guy who worked so hard on Soul Calibur 6 to make sure that it was made. He was the one, I think, who pushed for them to make it. And Bandai Namco, I think, literally said, all right, but if it doesn't sell well, this is the last Soul Calibur game ever. And so he put a lot on the line to make this. And honestly, Soul Calibur 6, you know how much I've been enjoying the game, right? I love the game, and I think it's great. I'm sad I've never played Soul Calibur up to this point because I really enjoy it. But now, for me, the whole future of Soul Calibur is in question right now. Are we even going to get a 7 at all? Is somebody else going to jump in? Or it's the third best-selling Soul Calibur of all time. Now, there's 6 Soul Caliburs, so you're like, that doesn't sound impressive, but number 1 and number 2 are 2 of some of the best-selling fighting games of all time. Number 1 on the Dreamcast, like I said, was one of the, in previous streams, was one of the first, it might have been the first perfect 40 from Famitsu in that magazine. That magazine is decidedly very hard to even get a 10 from anybody. They were not like a lot of the companies where like a 6 counts as a shitty game. Like, no, these guys actually use the whole scale. And this was the first 40-point game, I think, ever. And Soul Calibur 2, of course, is the super turbo of Soul Calibur. Everybody loves Soul Calibur 2. And so that this actually was able to get up into that level of surpassing 3, 4, and 5 so much, you know, I hope it sold well enough for a 7. Otherwise, you know...
Depends on what their projection was, you know?
And
if you project to sell 3 million and you sell 2 million, it doesn't matter if it's a third highest selling Soul Calibur game, right?
But I mean, Phantom did mention, they did say that it exceeded their expectations, which is why we got the season 2. Because you remember, Okubo trolled us at EVO, where he came out and after season 1 and he was like, we just want to put out a video to thank everybody for supporting. We hope you enjoyed Soul Calibur along the way, blah, 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 blah. And then it was a season 2 trailer. And it was like, yeah. But yeah, honestly, the fact that it didn't get its real world tour last year because of COVID really killed a lot of the wind in the sails, man. That
sucks.
That was
them, Granblue, a lot of games got dunked on because of COVID. Should have had good netcode, all right?
But again, you know, this breaks my heart. But shout outs to Okubo. Hope he moves on to cool things out there. Hope they can find someone to work on a Soul Calibur 7 if, you know, if it sold well enough to warrant that kind of thing. Because again, like I said, I've been enjoying the game tremendously, despite me being pretty bad at it. Although I've gotten pretty decent at it, despite playing only once a week. But still, I enjoy it. Like, it's one of those games that, like, I don't know. It feels good when you play. It's just fun. It's just a fun game. So
sure.
All right. So unless there's any other topics to talk about, we can move on to the mailbag at this point.
That's it. The mailbag.
Again, not a lot of questions that we got. We only have a few mailbag questions, and I'll tell you right now, some of these questions I don't even know how to answer. So. Let's get over here to the first question. If I can actually make this... Oh my god, I am doing some terrible things over here.
You all right over there, James?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Streaming is a blow up.
All right.
Streaming is a blow up. Here we go. Boom. First question is from Tabby Nat and says, what's your favorite arcade story?
I don't have one. I didn't grow up in the arcade. I don't have one.
I mean, honestly, my favorite arcade story would probably be non-fighting game related. So again, people don't know this, but if you played Super Mario Brothers on the regular Nintendo, you don't know how hard Super Mario Brothers was in the arcade. The lost
levels.
Yeah, a bunch of the lost levels a lot of those arcade stages were eventually added to the lost levels in the home version, like the first swimming stage and the first bridge stage with the cheeps. They made easier versions in World 3, and then in World 7 made it like the arcade version. In the arcade version, World 3 was already the brutal version, and then World 7 was completely different, and the swimming and the cheap bridge levels were just completely destructive. Like, the poison mushroom was new to Lost Levels. That wasn't in the original Super Mario's arcade. But the Super Mario Brothers arcade game was really, really hard. And again, this was in 85, so I was about 9 years old at around this time. Maybe 9 or 8 years old at this time. And I was the kid with the stool. And nobody could beat this game. And I was at the arcade, and I was standing on the stool, and I was playing, and I was getting... Remember, in World 4, you couldn't warp to World 8. World 4, the furthest you could warp to was World 5. Yeah. So if you hit the warp zone in World 4, you went to World 5, and you had to do 5, 6, 7, 8. There's no way to skip any of that. And I'm this little 9-year-old kid playing the whole thing down to my last life at the very end in Bowser's Castle. Time is running out. It's playing the fast music. I come out of the pipe. There's that dumb Hammer brother sitting there before the very last Bowser. And I had no time left. So I was like, screw it. I was large Mario. I just held B. This was my last life. I ran forward, ran into the Hammer Brothers, shrunk, jump over, ran at Bowser, and I was just like, please, Bowser, go into the air. And he did. He jumped in the air, and I ran under him. And like with like 10 seconds left on the clock, I hit the axe, and I beat the game. And there was a giant crowd just like sitting there watching this 9-year-old kid beat Super Mario Brothers in arcade. And I remember everyone just started cheering and applauding when I beat the game, dude. I was so happy, dude. It was such a cool moment. I really enjoyed that. So, man. Good memories, good memories. Let's get the next question out here. Hawk525 on Twitter asks, what is your favorite quote from a fighting game character? Victory, losing, in-game, etc., etc.
I just beat Mag freaking Nito. Where's your curly mustache at?
Good answer. Dude, that is a great answer. I would not have thought about that one. Okay.
I played Deadpool. I mean, I've heard it thousands of times.
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, you know, I honestly do miss. I love me some guns from the original trailer, but
yeah, they probably I wish it didn't get.
That probably got censored. That probably got censored. So.
Yep, it did.
Gosh, I know there's a quote out there that I love repeating, but I can't remember what it is at this point in time because it's just one of those questions that I'd have to think so long and hard about this. I mean, obviously there's too many. There's too many. I can't answer this question, dude. I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
right.
Hawk. I can't do it. Too many questions. I can't do it. I'm going to move on to the next one. And the last question that we have here, as I mentioned, didn't have too many questions this time, or I just missed some of them at the very end. But Deadeye Dave asks, what's your favorite travel abroad experience?
I've only been out of the country one time. Well, two times, but both times I went to Scotland. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Fair enough. Honestly, it's a tough one because obviously, like, you know, you want to say Japan because Japan was just absolutely amazing. You know, I got to do the Hey Arcade, Super Turbo, experience all these things. But, you know, just to be able to not be able to have the answer of something like going to Kuwait, like a place that I never thought that I would ever go, and being able to go there and just meeting, like, and I say this absolutely in the most lovingly way possible, going there and seeing a bunch of nerds. Like, you know, you're just like, it's like, you know, it's the same. You go to this convention and it's like everybody's the same. They're cosplaying, they're doing they're playing video games and all this stuff like that. It was really one of those very educational trips for me. You know what I mean? Sure. It was just one of those things that was fantastic. Now, you know, Japan, obviously, it's like the ultimate geek, you know, video games, Street Fighter, like, it's hard to beat something like that, but I might have to pick the Kuwait trip just because it profoundly changed my life. It affected my life in a way that I kind of realized the world is a little bit different, you know, than I expected it to be. So there we go. Well, that's all.
We did it.
We did it, but just want to remind everyone, you are going to be trying to stream every single day in September, sans tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to stream tomorrow. Wherever you guys stand on wanting to take a day off Twitch on the 1st or not, I support you because both sides have real good arguments on how it hurts. It could hurt smaller streamers and blah, blah, blah. Like, I get it. I'm actually just taking that day off because right now I have to go to bed. So, like, I just want one last day where I can do whatever the hell I want to do and not have to worry about a stream schedule.
Yeah.
So I'm not making like a political statement for once in my life, actually, by saying I just want a damn day off before I get going. But yeah, from the 2nd until the 30th, every day, minimum 1 hour, but I'm aiming for 3 hours at least per stream.
Dude, more power to you.
But on like Ultra Chen days, like I'm gonna have to stream after this, and then.
I mean, are you gonna do this? Doesn't count. This doesn't count as a stream.
It has to be on my channel. Jeez. It has to be on my channel.
Oh my god, more power to you, dude. All right, we'll try to.
It's gonna be exhausting.
In September, we'll try to make sure Ultra Trend runs shorter.
I appreciate it.
I mean, honestly, for me, I'm trying to stream as much as I can. I'm not gonna promise every day. I don't have that kind of willpower. I don't think, but. Tomorrow, we're supposed to do Synchronize. We're probably going to postpone it till Friday, just in solidarity with that. However, technically, we are going to stream tonight because the new Teppen pack comes out at midnight. So we'll stream at midnight, which is kind of counts as today, but not tomorrow. But
however you want to do it. Start streaming at 11:59.
Yeah, we're towing the line a little bit, but the new pack comes out, so we'll be streaming later today. But other than that, twitch.tv/TuboWare and twitch.tv/JChenzo will be trying to stream a lot. Like I said, I'll try to finish Outer Wilds. And like I said,
we'll see. Yeah. I don't know if I'll have time to watch, man. I'll be busy streaming.
Yeah, fair enough. So,
but I hope you do. I'll watch the archive if you start playing.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out again. And let's bird him.
Hey, you should do a raid. You should raid someone.
Oh yeah, I always do. I raid a channel afterwards every time. So
right, cool.
Yeah. But thanks guys for watching. See you guys next week on the Tuesday show. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you please like, subscribe, and support. Thank you very much. Leave a comment below.
Say stuff in the comments. Yeah, say stuff in the comments so I can argue with you.
All right. Have a good night. Peace.
Later, guys.